off shows.
Project soon. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Is that it for him? Oh no, we're getting in trouble. Oh yeah, by the way, I went live.
And we're now going to give you
Hello, everyone.
Hello, guys. We're watching the Disney Investor Day, so they're announcing all the stuff. And
if you're interested during this break,
feel
free to enjoy this
I'm gonna mute it for a second.
Disney Channel.
So they announced all the Star Wars, but I didn't realize they hadn't gotten to Marvel. So this is going to be on for a while. So I figured we could just talk commentary as it plays for everyone in the chat. And I'm joined by Elaine again. Welcome back. Let me pull up the other screenshots that we got. So they did a really big thing at the end of the okay, I actually need to get on the right screen to share before I do this. So they announced all of the new shows and featured films for Star Wars. And ironically, the man that's been talking a lot of game, his movie and trilogy is nowhere to be found on this list.
Oh, Rian Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if the Phantom Menace is falling apart and everything's happening, at least we got rid of Rian Johnson's.
No
anyway,
Rian Johnson trilogy.
that's a win for me. Huge
We're all
win.
united under that banner. Yeah.
I think that's the thing everyone is laughing about, because it's like we had never. So the lady that's directing Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins, she's coming in and she's going to be directing. Where is it on the screen? Oh, she's going to be directing this one, the next Star Wars feature film that's going to be in, air quote, in theaters in December 2023, which is Rogue Squadron. And then Taika Waititi, his movie is, his weird little Star Wars thing is not on here.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't named at all. They just said he's writing something. He's writing a Star Wars film, but there was nothing about it. Just that he has a fresh, unique, and his signature stamp to it.
And she said his humor, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
oh, well.
And that's all. No mention of what it is or where it's set in the timeline, or no title, obviously.
Ragnarok, Star Wars.
The Rogue Squadron, though, is intriguing, and I do like Patty Jenkins. I still have yet to see Wonder Woman 84, but I do like the Rogue Squadron books. I wrote a few of those. Hopefully they'll do that one justice. I just found it interesting that most of these were around the time of the original trilogy, except for the Acolyte, I think.
Yeah, the Acolyte. So that is Leslie Headland's female-centric Star Wars show. So this is going to be taking place at the end of the High Republic, and it's supposed to be about somebody that's training but is tempted by the Sith. And so this is going to be all whammon Sith High Republic stuff.
That's
so
the women. Yeah, that's the female-centric thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not even interested in the High Republic stuff, like, at all. Like, I haven't kept up with it at all because I just don't care. The premise actually sounds intriguing, but from what I know about like everything else, it's not really roping me in.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that's actually excited for the High Republic. I think it's more, when are they going to release more characters so we can see Steven redraw them?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest excitement we all have from the High Republic.
Yeah.
Even the authors have said that. They're like, oh no, who's going to redraw Yoda in a bikini?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the most exciting thing about this. But I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if you guys caught it when she was talking about the guy that's going to be directing Lando. And she says, oh, it's from the director that said, like, listen up, white people.
Yeah. That barely cut. Like, what? What did he?
Like, hearing Kathleen Kennedy say she's like the whitest of white. Doyle Hargrave, thank you for the super. That Ranger show better be Gina Carano show. That's at least what I was thinking. But then Drunk brought up a good point, is that when Disney's actual Twitter tweeted about the Ahsoka show, they tagged Rosario Dawson, but they didn't tag Gina Carano for the Rangers of the New Republic show.
Yeah, it makes me. So that's either two things that she's not the superstar or it's a group, and she's part of the collective group. You know
It
what I
could
mean?
be also that there is 2 more episodes of the Mandalorian to go, and maybe they just didn't want to.
Well, they tagged Rosario Dawson because she is Ahsoka Tano, so she's the star. So this probably telling me that this is not a Cara Dune show. It's a bunch of people together, and
But she might be in it though. I mean, I wouldn't
that's
rule
what
it
I'm
out.
saying.
Yeah.
She's probably in it, but she's probably not like the sole star as Rosario Dawson would be in the Ahsoka Tano. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I kind of like that actually.
I'm kind of waiting for her to tweet something out.
I feel like it might be one of those things where she's kind of like a crossover character, kind of like when they had like the Buffy and then the Angel show, and there's characters that go from show to show. Do you know what I mean? Oh no.
Yeah.
They're back.
Maybe.
Let me pull this back up. But yeah, it's oh no, the Jennifer Lee lady is coming back on the screen. Where I closed my tab and now I can't find my StreamYards. There we go. Okay, let's stop. You guys ready? Investor meeting. Aren't they just so fun? Where is it? Raya. Let's get this.
To unite the kingdom.
This is the one that Kelly Marie
There's
Tran
Raya,
is in.
A warrior whose wit is as sharp as her blade. The street-savvy entrepreneur named Boone.
Entrepreneur.
The giant Tong. And a little.
All these films all look the same to me.
I know. Like she looks just like Moana.
She does. Like they make the animation look a little different.
With time running out,
I don't
can
know.
they build their shattered
Just
world?
distinguish it.
Led by the indomitable Kelly Marie Tran as
Yeah,
Raya,
it wasn't
and the
this
one
chick.
and only
They just
Aquafina
announced that she's going to
as a
be
dragon
in
like we've never seen before. Raya and the Last
whatchamacallit, the
Dragon
Little
is a
Mermaid one as
beautiful,
well.
bold, and hilarious film. And while it is
As
our
what?
59th
I don't know. She's just
Oh.
going to be in the
It's our
Little
very
Mermaid film.
first
They
to be
announced
produced
like the cast,
home.
and she's one of them.
Over 400 different homes at that. And from our homes to yours. As Kareem mentioned earlier, Raya and the Last Dragon will be released both in theaters throughout the US and around the world, as well as on Disney Plus with Premier Access. This simultaneous
Premier
release
Access,
on Disney Plus and
$39.99.
in theaters March 5th gives audiences every possible opportunity to see the film. In Disney Plus, we have a home for our legacy of films, upcoming films like Raya and the Last Dragon, and we see boundless creative opportunities to continue stories with our favorite characters, as well as create original stories set in all new worlds, working with talent not just in our studio, but around the world. Today, we're happy to announce several new projects in development and production. This is where nostalgia meets the future. We begin with Disney Animation's first ever animated series.
Oh.
It takes place in one of our favorite fantastic
Oh, is it
cities
Big Hero
and
6?
stars one of our most beloved.
Oh, I love that movie.
To tell you more is the Oscar-winning director of Big Hero 6 and
Hey,
creator
I was
of
right.
Baymax the series, Don Hall.
I'm sad that
Everybody,
this
I'm
movie
Don
didn't
Hall,
get more
director of Big Hero
attention.
6. I am so excited to talk to you about
There was a level in Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, I thought that was kind of fun.
series is
Oh,
a
really?
continuation of the movie. We
It
actually
looked
get
just the animation looked
more
just like
of the
this.
city of San Francisco. This huge, wonderful, rich canvas. The series really focuses on.
Can people get on camera, please?
Which is
They said at least Drunk 3PO.
Each episode gave me-
Here, I'll show you. I'm here.
I would like to be more like Baymax. His kindness is.
Can you guys
like-
hear
Oh,
this?
your little Yoda in the back. That's cute.
The only problem is my light's all messed up, so that's why I wasn't on camera.
I love Big Hero 6. I love that movie.
It was so good. I have
For
so
me,
many.
I loved it. So,
It was, yeah.
like,
That
la
movie.
la 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 la.
No, when Stashi's gonna go run back and Billy like, no, I know what happens.
Baymax will
Don't
be
do
on
it.
Disney Plus in early 2022.
Baymax? Cool.
Also in
Yeah,
production.
Baymax.
Welcome back to the
Oh,
Mammal
no.
Metropolis.
Wartooth, that was for you. I'm not gonna stay on camera too long because we're watching this and I'm trying to type something up. Drunk 3PO, please have my baby.
Utopia Plus
Ooh.
is a hilarious look at some of the animals we only briefly met in the Oscar-winning film,
Okay.
including Frou-Frou,
I appreciate the offer. I really do.
tiger dancers, and our favorite sloth, Flash. We'll get
You know,
insight into their lives.
I
through the lens
did
of
enjoy
Zootopia's
Zootopia
hottest
the
shows
first
like
time I watched
The
it,
Real
but
Housewives
then
of
there's
Little
all that
Rhodesia.
weird,
So you
like,
think you
oh,
can
are they in
dance?
a
And a
relationship
show
and all
that
that?
follows the
And I'm
fast
just like, they're
lane of
two different
life
species.
and
I really
slop
hope not. And it
Zootopia
just
Plus is
unlocked
set
a lot
for
of weird
Disney
fetish
Plus
stuff.
in spring 2022.
The media ruins everything.
I know.
Cinderella, Ariel,
That and
Elsa.
DeviantArt.
Jasmine, Rapunzel.
Oh, Princess.
Disney Animation has brought some of the greatest heroines to the screen. Characters that people connect with and who stand the test of time. And with Disney Plus, we're creating new stories for these characters, starting with the favorite, from New Orleans.
Oh,
Princess
Tiana.
Wow.
We are bringing Tiana
Interesting.
and her friends back for all new stories in a long
Hand drawn?
musical comedy
I
series.
hope so.
Wow.
I hope
One
so.
of my favorites.
With
It's a
Tiana
dying art.
taking a role as a princess
I
of
really
a land
liked
we have yet to
Princess and the
visit,
Frog.
and with so much more
I
of
did
New
too.
Orleans yet to see. Tiana comes to Disney Plus in 2023.
You know, I
As a
don't mind
series,
that.
or it's
Because
called Tiana?
remember, they did that with
Another
The Little
series we're
Mermaid,
excited
with
to
Aladdin,
announce.
with Hercules.
One
They had their
that
TV
focuses on a
shows.
heroine who asks
I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
that.
how far she'll go.
And even
Yes,
Rapunzel got a
we
TV
are
show.
developing a long-form musical comedy series exploring new stories with Moana. There is such a deep love for this character in this film, and that love has only grown in the years since the film's initial release. In the series, Moana's boundless sense of adventure and skills at
Rachel
wayfinding
Rhino's
are
mad.
beyond
Hey,
belief.
man.
Since our first research trips to the region for the film, we continue to be inspired by the deep oral storytelling traditions of the Pacific Islands. And to help tell the stories for this
I would
new
just like to
series,
say
we
my
connecting
people
with
are
talent
islanders
from the
too,
region.
and we don't get movies about
Moana
us.
the series will be
Just
on Disney
saying.
Plus in 2023. There is one more series I am thrilled to announce today. An all-new, all-original series created in a whole new way for our studio. Back in the beginning of 2019, I saw a news piece about a group of storytellers and artists from Nigeria and Uganda. The title of this video was Pan-African Comic Book Hopes to Kick Disney's You-Know-What. I was intrigued. Here were three
What?
talented comic artists. Tolu Olafoyeku,
What is
Vicky
she
Nelson,
talking
and
about?
Hamid Ibrahim founded
She
Encanto
couldn't say it.
in college 2000.
She could have just said
Their
like
dream was to
bum.
bring African
It was the
stories
headline of an article.
to
Was
the
it that
world
bad?
through
Yeah.
comics and animation, highlighting the diversity of cultures, history, and voices across the continent. Their talents as storytellers blew us away. I'm proud to announce a first-of-its-kind collaboration as Kugali and Disney Animation team up to bring their original long-form series to Disney+. The series is called Iwaju, which in the Yoruba language roughly translates to the future. Set in Lagos, Nigeria, and steeped in science fiction, Iwaju explores deep themes of class, innocence, and challenging the status quo. Iwaju will debut on Disney Plus in 2022. As you can
It's
see,
like
we're
Wakanda.
embracing the
I know.
opportunities Disney Plus provides. We cannot wait to share more in the coming months.
See, I like when Disney did stories like this. They gave us something new, like Aladdin,
Yeah.
Project.
Hercules. Hercules was redone, but it was like
Release
they
Hey,
put their spin on
That's
it.
the house from Cobra
We've not
Kai.
officially announced this movie until our 60th feature. Magical realism sets
Ooh.
the stage.
Blue butterflies.
It's a musical
They're
stage.
everywhere.
To Colombia.
Can't
know
escape
about
In
that
them.
a
everywhere.
magical family, the Magic Girls live in
Oh.
an equally magical home. Our film is called Encanto.
Encanto.
Why?
Oh, I did hear about this, I think today, actually.
Born of its
Earlier.
unique wonder, where life itself is wondrous.
I'll have to
Directors
see
Byron Howard
the
and Jared
character
Bush,
design.
The filmmaking team that brought you the Academy Award-winning Zootopia are joined by co-director and co-writer Charisse Castro-Smith, and bringing his talents as both songwriter and story collaborator is the incomparable Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's hard to believe it's been 4 years since we first heard his.
Well, they did have a whole year to sit around and think about stuff to do.
That's true. That's why I think they're having so many announcements, because they had to come up with ideas on how to save their company. Okay,
Yeah,
that
this is
makes
the funny
sense.
part. They were like, watch a short clip, and they're like, we didn't film because everything was postponed a year.
I'm gonna mute this for a minute. All right, so I don't know that the African futuristic one looked interesting.
That'd be interesting to see how they do that.
I think the Big Hero 6 one is one I'm most interested in.
Yeah,
That one will be
I
good.
like Babe
I
Matt. I
hope
don't know why. I love that movie. I thought it was cool.
There was something else that came. Was it Frozen? Didn't they come around the same time? Because I remember it got overshadowed, and then they focused on something else instead of Big Hero 6.
Might have been it. I showed that. That was one of my approved films to show in my classroom, and the kids love. We watched it like 3 times a year.
It's really good. I love Big Hero 6.
It's
just
awesome.
sad.
And if you see them at Disney World, Baymax, like they have like I don't know how they do the costume, but
Oh, they have the real.
yeah.
They have
Yeah,
the
it's like
costume.
really thick, so like you can't see like the person inside with the lights. So, and he's got like one of the big red arms, like from his armor, and like he takes pictures. So,
You know what's funny? So the guy that played Baymax, according to my friend when she worked at Disneyland or Disney World, was super hot, and the only reason she knew that was because he ran into her and her other coworker when he was out of costume, and he's like, "Oh, I'm friends with Baymax," which means he is Baymax. All right.
oh,
There we go. It's about family.
From Kumandra to Colombia, San Francisco to
Oh, it's in
Zootopia,
Colombia.
from New Orleans to the Pacific Islands to a sci-fi world in Africa. The storied possibilities for the near century-old
Tatiana and the Zootopia.
You mean Tiana?
I know, but the Zootopia one, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, the Big Hero 6
What did I
one
say?
is fictional,
Tatiana?
right?
Yeah, Tiana, Baymax.
So I'm excited for Baymax, Tiana, and then however you say. Ooh, Pixar. Here we go.
Hey, everybody, I'm Pete Docter. Pixar started in 1986 with the dream to take the wonderful tradition of animation and transform it using state-of-the-art computer technology. Tradition and innovation, 2 opposing concepts, have been at the heart of Pixar since the very beginning. Since then, we've gone on to make 23 feature films and many, many shorts. And as a director of several of these films, it makes me so happy to hear that folks who grew up on these films as kids are now passing them along to kids of their own. It's hard to believe Pixar's been around 34 years, but you know what? Truth is, we're just getting started. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to a bunch of fresh new filmmakers. Getting their voices on the screen is our key focus right now, while at the same time allowing our veteran filmmakers to continue to mature and do their great work. And I think that's really what we do best at Pixar. We honor tradition while at the same time innovating for the future. Here's something that sure took a lot of innovation. It's our 23rd feature film called Soul. And it's one of the most challenging and rewarding projects I've ever
And this was
directed,
based
that's
off
for sure.
of Fantasia
Soul is set
2000.
in 2 distinct places, one that's familiar and one you've never seen before. The film looks
I didn't know that.
who we are.
Yeah,
and
they
what
had
we
the
do
little
with our
short
limited
in
time here
Fantasia
on Earth.
2000, and then they
Appreciating the
decided
simple
to
joys of
expand
life,
on it.
Finding the
Oh.
spark that makes you you.
Mm.
The
It's
themes
been a
of
long
Soul
time since I've seen
so timeless
Fantasia.
right now that we're happy that this movie will be shared this year with audiences around the world. We're
My
excited to
stepdaughter
bring
had
a
never
little
seen
joy
it,
to
so we
everybody
played
this
both
holiday
of them
season. So
for
let's
her
take a
while we
look
were
at
playing
what you'll
board
see this
games.
Christmas on Disney Plus.
I think that was the only way to keep her awake while they played.
1, 2, 3, 4, stay on the beat.
Is that what it's like when you teach drunk?
I don't teach music. When I did the piano lessons, it got a little bad.
I see you, Caleb. Got it, go for it.
420 people in here. Hit the like button for us, please.
Yes, please and thank you. We'll get on to the Star Wars topic, but right now it's the Disney investor meeting has not ended, so we're still going to just watch it.
That's a good thing. Look, I remember one time my dad took me to this jazz club, and that's the last place I wanted to be. But then I see this guy, and he's playing these chords with force on it, and then with a minor, I was, whoa, whoa, whoa. Then he has the inner voice.
I can just picture Eddie Murphy doing this in real life in like a 90s movie.
And I swear the next thing I know, it's like he floats off the stage.
Drunk3po, you sound like Paul Rudd. Thank you.
Watching the music, he was in it.
You do.
I wish I looked like him.
That's when I knew I was born to play. Look around. Life has so much to offer.
Isn't this already out?
I don't
Soul,
know.
isn't it?
We only have a short
I'm gonna
time
look it
on
up
this
right
planet.
now.
There's a lot of recycling going on here, though. I think like the Africa thing was the only thing new.
Enjoy
Yeah.
every minute of it.
No, the Colombian one.
Oh yeah,
with
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Manuel. I always say his name wrong.
It's gotten into you, boy.
Is
I will say I think it's funny that Disney dropped this right in the middle of the Cringe Game Awards with Brie Larson, and everybody's watching
so
this and not.
Soul is going to be
Exclusively
released
for the
on
streaming
Christmas
service. Now,
this
hopefully you've
year.
been able to check out some of
Oh,
our
okay.
shorts. These are a
Maybe that's
collection
why
of
they had
shorts
more film
made
for
by a
it.
diverse group of new storytellers at Pixar. They've really struck a chord with many around the world. Our next Spark short, Burrow, follows a young rabbit as she tries to build the home of her dreams. It's by first-time director
Aw.
Maddie Sharafian, and I'm excited to say it's going to be released on Disney Plus along with Soul this Christmas. We've also launched a new documentary series called Inside Pixar, which invites you into our studio for an up-close, never-before-seen look at the artistry, the craftsmanship, and the storytellers of Pixar. The first 5 episodes are available right now on Disney Plus, so check them out. And more are scheduled to be released in the coming months. Next, grab a quick snack with Pixar Popcorn. This collection of mini shorts feature your favorite Pixar characters in all new bite-sized stories created by Pixar animators. These were a blast to make. Pixar Popcorn comes to Disney Plus this coming January. We also
There was a
have
cookie num num,
all new
except
series
for me.
you'll soon be seeing on Disney Plus. The first is near to my heart as it's a spin-off from Up.
I'm
called
surprised he
Doug
hasn't
Days.
promoted
It's
anything
written and
from
directed by
Inside
the
Out.
hilarious
He
Bob
was one of the ones
Peterson,
that came up
creator
with
of
it.
Forky Asks a Question and the voice
Oh
of
yeah, I really liked Inside Out.
brand new series follows
There
our
was a
favorite
huge
talking
plot
dog,
hole
now
that
with
drives me
Carl as he
crazy in
returns from
it,
the
so I haven't
dangers
been
of
able to
Oh,
like
yeah.
and jungles to the dangers
remember
of
when
suburbia.
the gum
Here he will face
and
many
how she keeps getting the
challenges,
gum song
including
stuck in
puppies,
puppies.
fireworks, and of course,
I love. He was the best part of this movie. Just so you
Days will
know.
premiere on Disney
Up.
Plus in the fall of 2021.
I need to watch Inside Out again. It's been forever.
Well, so when her and Sadness are going through like the memory like things, and there's those little memory people that keep putting the gum commercial song, they put it through this tube that goes directly to where the main emotions are. And like all you had to do was put those emotions through that little thing and they would have gone immediately there.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't remember that part at all. I just remember her best friend, her imaginary friend, is what I most remember.
Ding dong! I have his plush and he does smell like cotton candy.
I cried. I cried at that part.
Oh. So those are the puppies from the little golden book.
Oh.
Hello, puppies. It is me.
Oh my god, that would be the best present. I want a bunch of puppies.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a sucker for stuff like this.
Tiny puppies. Puppy teeth. Ow. Oh, so sharp. Now I feel you.
The reality of puppies, they teeth and they bite.
That movie was I thought that was an original great film. Up.
Next, we're excited to reignite the Cars.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
It was
Reignite
sad at the beginning, but it gave like old man something to
Head on a
do.
road trip across the country. These
Well,
episodes
see,
will
the
be
thing with
filled
that I had
lots
a
of
problem
fun
with
new
is the
characters,
villain was an
imaginative
old man when
destinations,
Carl
as
was
well
a
as old
kid,
friends
and then
checking
he's
in
still
along
an
the
old
way.
man when
Our
Carl's an
all-new
old
Cars
man. So I'm
series
like,
is
did this
coming to
guy like
Disney
find
Plus
the fountain
in
of
the
youth
fall
and he
of
stopped?
I get what you're saying.
He should be
Following
like
that,
200 years
We're very
old.
excited to announce Pixar's first ever original long-form animated series. This is a big deal
Oh.
for us. It's being written and directed by 2 young story artists, Carrie Hobson and Michael Yates. While working together on Toy Story 4, these 2 often noticed that they'd have very different impressions of the very same meeting. One would think it went great, the other thought it was a disaster. And they thought, hey, that would be a cool thing to explore. And it developed into an original series we're calling...
Is that what happens at Lucasfilm?
This
Probably.
series follows a co-ed middle school softball team in the week leading up to their championship game. Each
Co-ed
20-minute
middle
episode
school
follows the
softball
same
team.
week, but from the perspective of a different character. But it's not really so much about softball as it is a comedy about love, rivalry, and the challenges we all face in our struggle to win at life. Win or Lose is coming exclusively to Disney Plus in the fall of 2023. So those are all projects we're working on for Disney Plus, all being made by our filmmakers in Emeryville with the same passion and excitement and quality as our feature films. And speaking of our feature films, we have an exciting lineup to share with you that really captures that perfect blend of tradition and innovation that I talked about earlier. At the center of each of our big tentpole films is a deeply personal story, and our next feature is no exception. Luca is the first feature for director Enrico Casarosa, who made the short film La Luna. And it's a love
I'll take this over the Woke Game Awards. Ask 3PO. Yeah.
And a celebration of
Thank you for the $2 super chat.
Set in a beautiful seaside
Wicked Steel with the
town on
$5.
This original film is
I love Up. It was a great movie. So Anna, did you get my gift?
To experience
Who is this
an
from?
unforgettable summer filled with
Wicked
gelato,
Steel.
pasta, and endless
I have
scooter
not
rides.
gone to the
Luca
post
dives into
office,
theaters around the world
so I have
in
not
June
yet.
2021.
But thank
Here's
you
a
for the
sneak
super
peek
chat.
at
And
our
guys, I will
all-new
get to
trailer.
all the super chats once
Oh, I'm
this.
sorry. I didn't mean to read it. I didn't mean to read it for you.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
It's like a habit.
It's okay.
It was like a habit.
So, Pixar's announcements, that wasn't as exciting as I thought, but I mean, it's not the same without John Lasseter.
Yeah, no. I mean, the dog from Up was pretty cute, but I mean, kids will like that.
It's just
Now that a lot of these films are going to be released in the theater, but also on Disney Plus with Premiere Access. So that's the same thing Mulan did. Just pay to watch it at home. But the problem is they're going to make us get into a habit of just waiting 2 months to watch it for free.
Yeah. And then we won't well, there's a magical Bay of Pirates that the second something is
exactly.
released
That's
online,
that's
you know.
what I'm saying. Like, it's just they really need to do that with a movie that will excite everyone. But I guess they don't have anything like that right now.
Well, it's funny because Disney Animation, they seem to have a lot of stuff in the works, but Pixar not as much, which is actually pretty ironic for them because they usually are the ones that have things planned out years and years and years in advance. Let's see.
After Luca, I'm excited to announce two new films today, both releasing in 2022.
Is the volume on this okay?
In the spring of 22, we
Here,
have
fine.
a film directed by another first-time feature director, Domi Shi, who won an Academy Award for her Pixar short film, Bao. Get ready for Turning Red. This is May. Confident 13-year-old who's experiencing the excruciatingly awkwardness of being a teenager. Everything in her life is changing. Her interests, her relationships, her body, balancing all this with
oh my God, is this about her period?
Her devotion to the biggest boy band on the planet is no small feat.
If this is about a little girl getting her period, I'm not watching it.
I watched that video in school. There's
poofs into a giant red panda.
What? Okay,
The Incredible Hulk, but cuter.
I love red
An
pandas.
original take on the great tradition of coming of
Okay,
age
they're going to sell a lot of
comedies,
toys.
albeit one with an emotional and furry twist.
Okay, see, that's subverting
where the
your
money is.
expectations.
Coming in the summer of 2022 is a science fiction
They
adventure.
did that. They did that wrong. I thought that was like what they were going to call her period. The red
Yeah,
panda.
I thought that too.
Mom, the red
Well,
panda.
it's
came
called
to
Turning Red. Is that what's called?
Yeah, so she turns into a red panda. So Lightyear. Oh, so Buzz.
At first glance, you might think this is a Toy Story film. Well, not so fast. See, back when we created the very first Toy Story, we designed Buzz Lightyear with the idea that he was a toy based on some really cool character from an epic blockbuster film. Well, all these years later, we decided it's time to make that film. Directed by Pixar vet Angus
Didn't they have a TV show as well?
Finding Dory.
Yeah, I was
Lightyear
just
is the
thinking that.
definitive origin story of the original.
Because I remember I followed this artist that designed like the princess that was in it.
Became the space ranger we all know him to be today.
Oh, that
And
does
we're
not look like
excited to
Buzz.
announce this new Buzz Lightyear will be voiced by none other than Chris Evans.
What?
You don't get much more traditional Pixar than Buzz. And we're excited to have
Where's
Chris's
Tim
help in bringing
Allen?
a new
What?
twist to this iconic character. We can't wait to take audiences
None
to
other
infinity
than
and
Tim
beyond
Allen is what you
as
should have said.
Lightyear launches
Oh
into
my
theaters
god.
in the summer of 2022.
No.
Oh man,
So there you
no,
have
I
it.
can't.
Pixar
What?
continues to transform, even as we become a proud part of the wonderful tradition of animation. We look forward to introducing you to even more characters, old and new, in years to come.
Well,
Just
What? That makes
please
no
don't tell
sense to
Kevin
me.
Feige that we're hiring Chris Evans away from
Tim-
Marvel Studios,
I-
okay?
with voice acting, it doesn't matter how old you are. And Tim Allen is still alive and well. Oh, here we go. There's now into Marvel. You guys ready for Brie Larson?
Pete. Good afternoon, everyone. We at Marvel Studios are thrilled to have a home on Disney Plus where nearly the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe is laid out in a way that's easy for fans around the world to enjoy. And today I'm excited
Finally,
to talk about
Marvel.
the expansion and future of the MCU.
Oh God, you guys
As
ready?
you may know, the cinematic universe weaves storylines and
As I'll
heroes
ever
and villains
be.
across 23 feature films to date. And with Disney Plus, we're able to extend this way of storytelling to a new format, creating series that are connected to our theatrical releases, making the MCU more immersive than ever. There's a lot of new content coming from Marvel Studios, so let's get started.
Oh my.
Wandavision will be the very first Marvel Studios series on Disney Plus.
He lost weight.
Wanda and Vision are two of our most powerful and complex heroes.
Yeah,
and this
Black is
series a
slimming.
perfect expansion
Yeah.
It's
point
deceiving.
for MCU storytelling. Launching on Disney Plus on January
What's on
15th,
his hat?
here's a look at the brand new trailer for WandaVision.
So what's a single gal like you doing rattling around this big house?
Well, I assure you, I'm married to a man, a human one.
Wanda.
The monkeys, they got the monkeys in there.
We are an unusual couple.
This is supposed to be like Bewitched.
Oh my
Hydra.
gosh.
That looks like the couch from I Dreamed of Jeannie.
Is that one of her powers?
I don't know.
Wanda, what's up? Who are you? I don't know.
To go like back in time?
She's Captain Marvel, right? No.
No, that's.
Maybe it's her imagination, and so it's.
Oh, that's Vision. Vision can do that, right? No.
Oh, her hair.
It's like the Brady Bunch house.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, I have no idea what
I
this
think
is.
it's all in her head. Oh, she's
Yeah.
having. Oh.
Well, because he's the only one they didn't bother to bring back with when they beat
January
Thanos.
15th.
Well, he got it. Yeah.
All right.
Elizabeth Olsen is currently in London right now. She's shooting the film Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with director Sam Raimi, star Benedict Cumberbatch, and the rest of the cast, including Benedict Wong, Rachel McAdams.
Oh, here comes the
and Joe
multiverse.
And joining them is a new fan favorite character from the comics,
With all the
America Chavez,
Spider-Mans.
played by Xochitl
Yeah.
Gomez.
Oh, American
This film hits
Chavez
theaters
making an
March
appearance.
25th, 2022, and we're really pushing the boundaries of storytelling with this thrilling, scary, mind-bending adventure. Not only
2022.
will Doctor Strange in the Multiverse
How
of
scary.
Madness connect directly to the events of WandaVision, but it will also connect to the
600
events of
people
our
in
new
here.
Spider-Man
Can y'all hit the
film
like button?
coming to theaters December
Wow, thank
24th.
you. That was awesome.
Moving to our
Yes,
next
thank
series
you,
for Disney
everyone.
Plus,
Sorry, we're
which
kind of a
launches
little
this coming
distracted here.
March.
The
The
Falcon and Winter
the
Soldier.
Winter Soldier features two recognizable superheroes last seen together in the final moments of Avengers.
I love
Endgame.
Sebastian Stan.
Sam Wilson,
Oh, I know.
aka the Falcon,
Your video
is played
today
by
was
Anthony
really
Mackie,
good about
and
him,
Bucky Barnes, the Winter
being
Soldier,
Luke.
is played by
Oh, thank
Sebastian
you.
Stan. The Falcon
It's
and the Winter Soldier
uncanny,
is a
really. He looks
cinematic
just like him.
experience. It's a Marvel Studios movie.
I think he's
played out
slightly more
over 6
handsome.
episodes.
That's high praise, Elaine.
I think
Just
it's
like
the beard, though, does
Falcon and
it.
Winter Soldier.
Luke Skywalker with a beard looks pretty good.
I think Luke
legacy of
Skywalker
that shield
pre-car
is-
crash looks pretty good.
Complicated.
Oh, yeah, that was tragic.
The world. Was upside down. People need something to get behind.
I need the symbol.
I kind of miss his long hair.
So what's our plan?
I'm not attached to it.
No.
He still looks good.
So no plan. Great.
So there's gonna be Captain America with the Falcon stuff.
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie looks good.
It's
Every time
that
I see
they're-
him, he just reminds me of Clarence from 8 Mile that Eminem destroyed in a rap battle at the end of that movie. I just keep seeing it every time I see him.
What's going on in that cyborg brain of yours?
You don't want to know.
Oh yeah, I can see it working. Gears turning. Oh, they're malfunctioning. They're on fire.
God, I hate
I'm sorry. I really did love them in Civil War. Was it Civil
Now,
War?
to another hero we last saw in Avengers Endgame.
They were hilarious
Black
together.
Widow will return to the big screen on May 7th, 2021. Of course, the film stars
interesting.
Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff. Fans have been patient, and I can't
I
tell
like
you
how they
just how
all
ready we are.
like this
for
is all
Avenger to
pre-recorded
finally
and
have her own
filmed
standalone
and
film. And speaking of fan favorite characters, Loki.
oh, here we
The God
go.
of Mischief will step out of his brother's
So
shadow
they
and into
all
his own
knew
series on Disney Plus
beforehand
in
that
May
they're like,
of next
okay,
year.
this is going to come out in
The great Tom
May
Hiddleston
in
returns as
theaters
Loki and is joined in the series by
2021.
Owen
So they're
Wilson,
anticipating the
Lubin
theaters
Batra,
being open.
Sophia DiMartino, Wunmi Mosaku, and Richard E.
Interesting.
Grant.
It's interesting how they changed
With
the
the Marvel show
letters,
coming to Disney Plus, we want to
the
try
different
something a little
fonts.
different. Explore a new genre.
You know,
for
I
us at
think they
Marvel
might do
Studios.
one of those
So we
things
put
where
Loki in the center
since
of his
Loki
own
can
crime
switch
thriller.
forms, they'll have a bunch of different
If that sounds
actors
a little
or
unusual,
actresses
confusing,
playing Loki,
don't worry.
and then maybe have Tom
Loki's just as
Hiddleston do a
confused.
cameo in each
Here's the
episode.
very first look at Loki.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, so you're gonna pick up from Endgame?
Yeah, because he leaves.
Yeah, this
with
is the
Wanda.
version.
Yeah.
So it's like the multiverse.
I love this moment, by the way.
She's like, I'm out of here.
So it's this version of Loki,
hmm
in the first Avengers.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
it.
I bet you they weren't able to film as much. Oh, never
Oh,
mind.
here we go.
You're taking me somewhere to kill me. No, I'm taking you someplace to talk.
Owen.
You like
Oh, we knew he
lied.
was in there.
Just did.
His hair.
Because we both know he didn't.
That's Tony Stark's dad,
How long have you been here?
right?
I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, time passes differently here in the TVA. What does that mean?
No, it's Owen Wilson.
Yeah, it's Owen Wilson, but isn't he playing?
Is he playing it?
He's
Maybe
like a
I'm
time
wrong.
person. He's like a
Oh
time
yeah, yeah, yeah.
detective.
Sorry, yeah.
I think.
That's right. Owen Wilson, yeah.
Glorious.
I like the music. It's gonna get me struck.
He's watching all the films.
Okay, this looks a little bit more interesting than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, look, there's Black Widow. Is he gonna save her?
Wow. Oh.
Is that John Hamm?
No, that was him. That's Tom
I
Hiddleston.
tried to tell everyone
What?
because I'm a Marvel person that Black Widow can be saved and bring her back.
We knew it was
I
a
freaking told
possibility.
everyone since Endgame, and everyone said, "Jay, you're stupid. You're freaking stupid."
He can travel through time. Why is that's so
Well, I think it's
stupid.
more because maybe people were arguing that it's in that version and then this is the multiverse.
Still, it's still a way to bring him back. I'm just
Oh
saying.
my god.
Streaming
Interesting.
soon? Okay. We don't have a date yet.
That was Marvel's Okay, we'll talk about that in a second.
Coming to Disney Plus
Animated
next
series.
summer,
They've had
What If
tons of animated
flips the
series.
script on the
Great.
MCU,
The What If
taking
series, yeah.
films and reimagining them in unexpected
Well,
ways.
we need this one.
Assembled a stellar voice cast with many MCU stars reprising their roles. Here's a look at What If.
Space. Time.
Jesse knows the actor that's the voice of Thanos in their animated show.
More than a linear path.
Yeah, he was on her channel.
Of endless possibility.
So it's weird that he would say this is their first animated stuff. Oh, this is the same animation they used for what was that terrible Star Wars show I used to watch?
Resistance?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand that animation.
What? Yeah, I don't like this.
British Captain America?
No, that's
Haley Atwell. I mean, what's her name?
Peggy?
Yeah,
that's his
Peggy.
girlfriend.
What if she was Captain America? Yeah.
Captain Britain.
Captain Britain. Yeah.
What you doing out there all by yourself anyway?
Exploring the world.
Sounds
Oh, I
fun.
don't like this animation.
No, these are what if stories. They're like pretty popular in Marvel. They're just one.
It's just
one
like
done.
fan fiction.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like
It's cool.
What if
I mean-
somebody did this instead of that? Like, what would happen?
Yeah.
Well,
I like
people
the
actually
idea.
die in these. People actually die. They'll be like, I don't know if they'll do it for the animation series, but there's Captain Marvel.
Drunk, what will you do if they do a Daredevil what if?
Ugh,
Look, there's
what was that?
zombies. Yep. Marvel zombies. Wow, that's kind of cool.
Captain Zombie.
Well, the Marvel Zombie series is one of their most popular comic book series.
I just don't like the animation.
Oh, the animation.
That's because it's 3D meant to look like 2D, and it's kind of painful because you can just see the models and how they're trying to do it.
Is it faster to do that way?
Very much.
We've
Yeah,
just
that's
wrapped
why.
production in Australia on our film Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And we're so impressed the way Simu Liu has brought the character of Shang-Chi to life. Simu was
What a-
surrounded on screen by a
Yeah.
fantastic cast that includes Aquafina, Tony Leung, and Michelle Yeoh.
This chick is in everything now.
I was just thinking that.
Everything.
Wasn't Aquafina in something else that got announced?
She was in
Is Miss Marvel.
the Colombian animated one for Disney. Then she's in oh god, Miss
Earlier this
Marvel.
year, during
She's
shutdown,
in
we held
the Little
online
Mermaid live
auditions all
action.
around the world to find our Kamala Khan.
Who is
And we found
Aquafina?
her in Amon Villani.
She was in Crazy Rich Asians and all that.
Phenomenal cast and
Oh,
greatest team that will
yeah.
bring this story to life.
She's kind of funny.
So here's an early look at Miss Marvel.
All right, Ms. Marvel.
is a new kind of superhero.
Is she gonna get
The core of
canceled
all of
too
it,
for
our
not
story's so
being
universal.
Muslim enough?
Miss Marvel is one of the newer characters in the Marvel
Wouldn't surprise me.
And when one comes in that grabs the world's imagination like this, the questions are, when are we going to bring Miss Marvel to the screen?
When Miss Marvel first came out, we had such an incredible reaction.
It was so incredibly popular because everybody could see themselves in her.
I never saw a young teenager of color, specifically a Pakistani, in the comic
Phrasing.
book. Are you kidding?
Promised you'd be cool.
I guarantee you that woman that said that has never read
When
comics.
we discovered Iman, we knew that she was Kamala Khan.
It was unanimous decision.
I can't comprehend this right now.
And then, of course, we've got a really incredible team of directors: Bilal Fallah, Adel Al-Arabi, Mira Menon, and Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. And all of them are taking the material and elevating
Say that 3
it.
times fast.
I know.
About a teenager figuring out who she is and about relationships, family, and friendship.
A teenager finding out who she is in
That's what's so
relationships.
exciting about the story that we're bringing is that we're going to introduce you to a new family that's also going to be part of the wider MCU.
Over 700 people in here. Please hit that like button for us, please.
Hello, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Oh no!
And Captain
Oh,
Marvel
God.
2 is currently in the works with director Nia DaCosta.
Oh
Today,
god!
we're so announced that
And
Miss
there
Marvel
it
With
is.
who?
played by Iman,
Oh, yeah, okay.
joining Brie Larson and co-starring
Okay.
in Captain Marvel 2, along with a grown-up Monica Rambeau, played by Tiana Paris.
I feel like the
whom
quartering's
we've already
gonna get
met
another
in
shed.
the upcoming Wandavision. So by now you should start getting a sense of the interconnection.
I need a shed, so maybe I'll start doing that.
But that doesn't mean there aren't some unexplored corners of the universe.
I'm actually interested to see how that will go without being shoehorned before Endgame.
Played by a spectacular cast. This is an epic story spanning thousands of years, and it's one of our most ambitious films. It's set for theatrical release on November 5th, 2021.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Eternals.
The Spider-Verse is going to destroy. The Spider-Verse, if they do it right, could make more money than Endgame, if you want my honest opinion.
They're bringing everyone back.
With another well-known archer from Marvel Comics, Kate Bishop.
So I'm saying, if they do it right, the Spider-Verse with Tobey and Garfield, all of them.
Rounding out that cast are Vera Farmiga, Fra Fee.
I actually kind of like Andrew Garfield's.
Playing Maya.
Yeah, I'm saying they bring them all. It'll do well because.
Well, I think everyone that grew up with the Tobey Maguire one is going to be. Hey, look, She-Hulk. The chick that did this blocked me on Twitter.
It's about a woman trying to navigate the world and be taken seriously as a working
Who is
professional.
that?
Like the Dana, whatchamacallit.
Dana Schwartz, my girlfriend.
It's a very funny series.
She blocked me.
By Kat Poirot and Anu
blocked me too.
And I can officially confirm that
I made a whole video about how we were dating and how she sent these pictures of her, and the video's hilarious.
Reveal that the brilliant Tim Roth is returning as the Abomination.
Ology actually grabbed the whole video.
I like Tim Roth actually.
I like him in Quentin Tarantino movies.
I can confirm that the Hulk himself, Mark Ruffalo,
He was in that show too. What about The Lies? What's it called?
And since Jennifer Walters is a lawyer
True
who
Lies?
specializes specifically in
Something where he can tell lies. He can read people.
You never know what Marvel characters are going to
I don't
pop
know what
up
it's called.
from episode to episode.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Bringing a whole new different vibe to the MCU, Moon Knight is an action-adventure, Indiana Jones-type story coming to life as a
No. You don't compare nothing to Indiana Jones, man.
Moon Knight is
I hate that.
How is this anything like Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones stands alone. It's history stuff.
From what I know of Moon Knight.
Indiana Jones number 5's coming.
Egyptian iconography.
I know, man.
Yep.
Mythology is something the world's always been fascinated by. We're going to
This is the longest meeting ever.
in Moon Knight. Now
I think they said it was going to be 4 hours. I don't know how long it's been going.
First of which is Secret
It started at
Invasion,
1
coming to Disney
at 1:30 my
Samuel
time,
L.
so it's
Jackson is back
4:56
as Nick
now.
Fury, and Ben
So it's almost
Mendelsohn from
over.
Captain Marvel returns as the
Secret
Skull of Talos.
Invasion.
Next to Civil War, Secret Invasion is arguably the biggest crossover comic event in the last 20 years, and we're bringing it to Disney Plus.
No, it's not. Secret Wars is.
Is this Nick Fury's series?
Yes.
Ironheart will be a series for Disney Plus about genius inventor Riri Williams.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Riri Williams. That's Yellow Flash's favorite.
Title role. And as we like to do,
Call us a year ago.
We'll tie directly.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
We're also well underway on a series for Disney Plus based on Armor Wars.
Armor
Classic
Wars.
Marvel story about Tony Stark's worst fear coming true.
Yeah.
It's what happens when his tech falls into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
And this
Like
series will
every
star
movie?
a beloved member of the MCU, Don Cheadle, will be returning as
Oh,
Jim
the
Rhodes,
worst Don
aka
Cheadle.
One of the best things about expanding the MCU to Disney Plus is that our team at Marvel Studios is finally able to do some of the things we've always wanted to do, but didn't quite.
The holiday special. That's a Star Wars thing.
The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is going to be a lot of fun, especially since James Gunn is back to write and direct.
Oh my
In
God.
fact, we're going to shoot it during production of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This special will drop the holiday prior to the next Guardians of the Galaxy film, which hits theaters in 2023. And speaking of
2023.
Is it going to be with Legos?
everyone's favorite little
No.
trick, Baby Groot, will star
That'd
in a
be kinda
series of
cute.
shorts on Disney Plus.
I am
featuring several
Groot.
new and
I am
unusual
Baby
characters.
Groot.
Before I go, I couldn't leave you.
What the frick is he gonna say for 30 minutes? I'm Groot the whole time? That's it? That's the laziest writing show I've ever heard in my life.
Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and Tessa
3
Thompson.
words. Walk around. I'm
Just to
Groot.
confirm
I'm
that
Groot.
Academy Award-winning actor Christian Bale is playing the villain, Gore the God Butcher.
Whoa.
Thor: Love and Thunder releases in theaters on May 6th, 2022.
You know, I'm actually down to see.
As we announced,
It just sounds like a bad porno movie.
It does sound like a bad
Or
porno.
Love and Thunder with
development
Christian
storylines
Bale.
coming together.
The next Blade. Where's Wesley Snipes?
Director
when you
Peyton
need
Reed
him?
is hard at work with our Marvel Studios team on the third Ant-Man film, which will officially be called
Paul Rudd.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Paul Rudd,
I was going to
Van
say
Damme,
again,
Michael
Ant-Man and the
Hutchins,
Wasp.
Jill Pfeiffer are all returning. And
Quantumania.
Catherine Newton is
Quantumania?
joining the cast playing
What?
Cassie Lang.
Oh
And
my
in the
goodness.
role of Kang the Conqueror,
I don't like
great
that
actor
title.
Jonathan Majors.
Kang the
Weird.
Conqueror, man. Yes.
The longest title ever.
I wanted to acknowledge the devastating loss of a dear friend and member of the Marvel Studios family.
Mm.
Chadwick Boseman was an immensely talented
Yeah.
actor and an inspirational individual who
Okay.
affected all of our lives professionally and personally. His portrayal of T'Challa the Black Panther is iconic and transcends any iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past. And it's for that reason that we will not recast the character. However, to honor the legacy that Chad helped us build through his portrayal of the King of Wakanda, we want to continue to explore the world of Wakanda and all of the rich and varied characters introduced in the first film. Writer-director Ryan Coogler is hard at work on the sequel now and will bring the film to you in theaters July 8th, 2022.
Well, how would they do it without him, though?
Finally,
Probably
I'm happy
Siri.
to announce a film about one of the truly
Well, but
iconic
Black
Marvel
Panther will be in it?
In fact,
I
Marvel's
guess.
first
Well,
no,
you
I
become
think it'll
the
be next one.
new Black Panther by eating
now, and it will be
by
directed
taking the
director of our
vows and
recent
stuff.
Spider-Man films, John Watts.
Would
Huh?
they do like any CG
We've got a
involved
lot
in
in
that?
store at Marvel Studios, and Disney Plus is key to
Wait,
interconnection
wait,
and expansion of the MCU. It will be home.
You
for
become
both
the Black Panther when you
series
win
for
the
years
battle.
Since Marvel first joined
You
Disney
understand
back
what
in
I'm saying?
2009,
Yeah,
They're
I'm just wondering,
they're
like, how would he not be in it though at all? And he's just gonna
they,
be referred to, I guess.
I don't know. They might just say he died at the beginning, and they're gonna search for a new leader.
I think, yeah. Or
What
the
an
sister
amazing
will.
presentation by Kevin and all of our creative executives.
I thought she was gonna be the next Ironheart or something like that.
As you just saw for yourselves, the
Possibly.
same attributes that define
Anna
our
texts.
I got both of those.
Anna tweets Batman for Thor and Love.
I know, I'm trying to get like screen. I need this to be on my timeline so I can find it later.
Christian Bale could be a
Was that
scary
presentation?
bad guy. We know that.
We obviously didn't have time to show you everything coming to Disney Plus, particularly a lot more original
The
Disney
God
branded
Butcher.
content.
That was interesting.
We launched the service last year with great ambition and high expectations, and we've exceeded them by every measure. There are thousands of episodes of television and hundreds of library titles and theatrical releases. It's truly spectacular. The enormous success of Disney Plus inspired us to be even more ambitious. And the pipeline of original
Why didn't they mention
content we're
Avatar?
making is much more robust than we had initially anticipated, with an incredibly impressive number of great new episodic series, feature films, documentaries, and specials, all coming to the service in the next few years.
All right.
They'll also be arriving at a much quicker cadence. We've set a target of 100 plus new titles per year, and this includes Disney Animation, Disney Live Action, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic. And of course, we'll continue to add more to our rich library as well. It's been an unbelievable first year, and the response from audiences around the world has been extraordinary. We've clearly positioned ourselves as a leader in the direct-to-consumer space, and the fact is, we're only just getting started.
All I have to say is, last year I said the guy was trying to run for president, and he finally came out and admitted it. Drunk3po was right. Like, I need to go back and like say, I told y'all, boom. I told y'all, boom.
Well, I think
told y'all,
everyone's
boom.
known that for years now.
No, they weren't. I was saying that on live streams, and people are like, "That's kind of weird, Jay. Why would Bob Iger run for
Well,
president?"
I mean,
like,
Jeremy's
"All
been
right."
saying that too ever since I met him. And then when you read his book, it's so obvious he wants to run for president. I mean, he wasn't wearing a tie in this whole presentation, and he talks about in his book how when he started at Disney, everyone was wearing Mickey ties, and it was part of the culture to like incorporate Disney and Mickey into things. And when he took over, he changed all of that. That's why he doesn't wear ties. Like, you see him in like almost any meeting or any presentation, he's never wearing a tie. And it's in protest of Mickey. And it's like, you were the CEO of Disney and you're not going to wear, like, come on. It's your job, you know? I don't know what else they have to present to us, but I guess we have a minute. So what did you guys think about all of that?
I think the Marvel multiverse was their best bet after Endgame, because most people, I think the Spider-Verse, if it's done right, could be huge. It's going to be with Doctor Strange and everything too, but there's a lot of characters, and if the movie could be a big bundled up mess. But you know, I think the Spider-Verse could be, because I love the Spider-Verse animation. I thought that was a great film. But,
yeah, me too. I like that.
If they do it right, it could be really big. That's all they got. They can't bank Marvel Phase 2 on Brie Larson. They can't. It'll die. They all they got left is Thor, and whatever's coming up on the thing.
I think that they're gonna bank it on Guardians of the Galaxy and then the TV shows. I mean, it seems like Loki is gonna. After watching that,
yeah, they're pushing everything to Disney Plus because they don't want to lose theaters again. God forbid another outbreak of whatever happens, and they got to close the theaters. They're pushing everything.
Yeah, Loki and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is probably what I'm most looking forward to.
And you now probably want to know how our
I just don't like the what if animation. Ugh.
Translate into our subscriber and financial expectations.
Oh, he's gonna go over finances with us. This will be fun.
The person who can address those topics.
I'm gonna go get something to drink.
I would now like to introduce Disney's Chief Financial Officer, Christine McCarthy.
Oh yeah, I guess Ant-Man. I'm looking forward to, but
thanks, Lowell.
It's gonna be a ways off.
Thank all of you for joining us. We are so proud of
There's
what
an
we've
echo.
been
Okay,
able
then
to
it's
share
probably
with
me.
you
I'll mute
today.
myself.
And I hope it has reinforced why we continue to see such tremendous opportunity in the direct-to-consumer space. As you have heard throughout the day, our more aggressive direct-to-consumer business plans, supported by our new organizational structure, will allow us to further increase the value that our services deliver to consumers. We'll also continue to be responsive to our investors as we are aligned in our goal of maximizing long-term shareholder value. We will continue to be transparent with all of you about our direct-to-consumer businesses, and we will continue providing the key metrics that help you best understand our progress. We will also provide incremental disclosures when appropriate. We plan to begin reporting results under our new structure in Q1 of fiscal 2021. Going forward, our operations will be organized under our two primary businesses, Disney Media and Entertainment and Disney Parks Experiences and Products. While we are still working through the details of our new financial reporting approach, our goal is to provide recast financials in advance of, but close to, our Q1 earnings call in February of 2021. As we look ahead to reporting this new structure, one item I would like to highlight is that we will change how we attribute film and television costs to the various distribution platforms. Rather than having an inter-segment markup, we will allocate the cost plus a share of overhead. Now, I'll share with you how we expect our plans to drive growth and impact our direct-to-consumer financial results. Today, I'm going to provide guidance across our services for fiscal 2024 to be consistent with the time frame we guided to at our last Investor Day. Let me start with Disney Plus, which, as you heard earlier today, had 86.8 million total paid subscribers as of December 2nd, approximately 30% of which were Disney Plus Hotstar subscribers. When we discuss Disney Plus subscriber guidance, here is some further context on what we mean. In most international markets, Star will be part of Disney Plus with a combined price point to consumers. This includes Disney Plus Hotstar markets, as well as markets where Star will be a sixth tile.
So
within the
Star
Disney
is
Plus
how they get
So,
international people
in
to
these
watch
markets,
Disney
our
Plus. They
Disney
talked
Plus
about that in the
subscriber
beginning of
outlook
their
reflects
presentation.
the inclusion of
We
Star.
don't have to watch this, do we?
Latin America requires
We're
a
gonna
little
see
more
how much money they
explanation.
make, Drunk.
As Rebecca
86 million
said earlier,
subscribers, so they say. That's 640
Disney Plus on
million
its own,
a month.
Star Plus on its
I mean, a
own,
year.
or a bundle of the two services. We intend to price the bundle.
That's $7.
And the price is going to go up, right?
And as a result, we anticipate
Yes, it is gonna go up.
I don't think they said.
Star
Did they
Plus
say how much?
standalone subscribers. So for simplicity, we will include these in our Disney Plus subscriber count, and bundled subscribers will only be counted once. If you recall, last year, we said that we expected Disney Plus.
Did y'all hear that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is getting 4 more seasons?
Yeah.
2024.
That's nuts.
But, as you know, our subscriber growth to
Yeah,
date is
18
well
years
ahead of
of
our
the
original
show.
expectations. And we have an incredible and growing slate of high-quality content that will capture a broader global
For the
audience
financial
and
statement
further
of this,
fuel
she hasn't
Disney+,
given any
making it
statistics.
what we believe is an even
There's so
more
much blue.
compelling product.
Everyone's wearing blue.
These factors, along
Representing
with
the
the
color.
addition of our Star general entertainment offering in various markets and the growth of Disney Plus Hotstar, give us an even greater optimism about our future. And they enable us to significantly increase our subscriber guidance. We now expect that by the end of fiscal 2024, we will have between 230 and 260 million total paid Disney Plus subscribers globally, compared to the 60 to 90 million we shared last year. I'll note that our prior outlook did not anticipate the launch of Disney Plus Hotstar, which we now expect could be between 30 and 40% of our subscriber base by the end of fiscal 2024. We clearly
Okay, so that what that means is she's anticipating 30 to 40% from international people, but she didn't provide any of the statistics on where they're getting those numbers
Disney
from.
Plus pricing, given the additional value we will be adding to the service. So, in March of 2021, we will be increasing the U.S. price of Disney Plus by $1 to $7.99 per month. And as Rebecca mentioned earlier, we will be increasing the price of Disney Plus in continental Europe by €2 to $8.99 per month, with similar adjustments in other markets. These price increases reflect an increase in the underlying value of the Disney Plus product offering, as well as the inclusion of Star general entertainment content in many markets. As you've seen and heard today, this incredible trajectory of our subscriber growth will be fueled by our continued and increased investment in high-quality content. This includes incremental investment in the international general entertainment offerings we create and the local content we create or acquire. At our last Investor Day, we said we expected fiscal 2020 Disney Plus content amortization expense of approximately $2 billion. And we expected that to grow to the mid-$4 billion range for fiscal 2024. In fiscal 2020, our content expense was roughly in line with that outlook. Looking forward, our revised outlook for subscriber growth is fueled in part by an increased level of output for Disney Plus, including the addition of Star. This will drive higher fiscal 2024 content expense on our P&L than we previously expected. We now expect our content expense to be between $8 and $9 billion in that year. This increase reflects several factors, including increasing investment in original content under the 5 core brands with which we launched Disney Plus.
Well, they're not making enough to fit that.
Marvel and Star Wars.
They're not, which is
Making a
why they're
significant
increasing the
incremental
price, but
investment
I don't
in
see
our
how that's going to
production
help
of
if
original
they're
general
spending,
entertainment content
what, $8
that will
billion
drive our
filming all of
Star and
this?
Star Plus offerings. Producing and acquiring local
If I
content
ran my bank
in
account like that,
international
I'd be in
markets,
jail.
which will increase our relevance and subscriber
I'm
penetration
just saying.
in those markets. And the inclusion of Disney Plus Hotstar in our revised outlook, which includes both entertainment content and sports rights costs. We previously stated that we expected Disney Plus would reach its peak year of losses between fiscal 2020 and fiscal 2022. Consistent with this range, our expectation today is that Disney Plus will reach its peak year of losses in fiscal 2021. Given the value of growing our subscriber base, as you've seen today, we plan to reinvest revenue generated from our better than expected subscriber growth back into content investment. Thus,
So if you guys missed that, they're going to be losing money until 2022. That's when they're finally going to get a return on their
They just
investment.
said 2024 they'll be profitable. So they'll break even at 2022. God.
As viewing habits and
Wow.
trends evolve
They're not going
further
to
over
make
the
money till
years, we will
2024.
calibrate and adapt.
Yeah, this
our
is why it's
content
important to
creation,
watch this stuff.
distribution, and
So what happens when
content.
you own everything? You own all the liabilities as well.
Strong value proposition for our consumers. The guidance we are providing reflects our plans as
They
of
own
today.
too much, I think is also
We
clear.
operate in a dynamic world.
Honestly,
and we
if
are
you guys are
certain
into stock, I
consumer
would
expectations
invest in
and
Disney now
preferences
then,
will
and then in
continue to
2024
evolve.
you might see an increase in
We
your
will
return.
remain flexible in our approach with a keen focus on serving consumers and maximizing shareholder value. Switching gears, Hulu has a 12-year
What are you
track
eating?
record,
What are you eating, Jay?
which has
Candy corn?
accelerated in recent years, and the service continues
I'm
to
almost
perform
out.
well. With more than a decade of data to learn from and to inform our outlook, we told you last year that by the end of fiscal
I'm on a sugar
2024,
cleanse.
we expected
So
Hulu's domestic paid subscriber base to grow to between
Sorry to hear that.
40 and 60 million. Looking forward, we are refining our outlook, and we now expect Hulu will have between 50 and 60 million subscribers by the end of fiscal 2024. This includes subscribers to the live TV product, which includes Hulu's SVOD content. We now expect Hulu to achieve profitability in fiscal 2023, compared to the range we provided last year of fiscal 2023.
Even Hulu isn't making money. Look at that.
Dang.
ESPN Plus. We are very pleased with the performance of the service. When we last met, we said that we
How
expected
you pleased about
ESPN
losing
Plus to have
billion?
between 8 and 12 million subscribers by the end of fiscal 2024. We have evolved our business model since then, and today we are going after mass market penetration to reach an even broader audience of sports fans. As a result,
is anyone even watching sports right now?
of our domestic streaming
No, because they
Seems
all
to be in a
went
tank
woke.
right now.
alongside ESPN Plus's exclusive live events, original programming, and editorial content
What is
that you
going on
heard
in the
about
chat?
earlier
People getting
today
there's
has led
spam
us
going
to
on?
change our outlook. We now expect ESPN Plus
If there's
will
spam,
have
can my
between
moderators handle that,
20
Yeah, they
please?
were.
million subscribers by the end of fiscal 2024. While this strategy leads to a substantially larger ESPN Plus subscriber opportunity than we expected at the time of our last Investor Day, it also drives a lower ARPU than we previously expected. Thus, we continue to believe ESPN Plus will reach profitability in fiscal 2023 in line
Yeah.
with what we said last year. We clearly have
It's a long ways away.
and content engines that will drive the growth we talked about today. To put our total direct-to-consumer content investment outlook into perspective, we expect that for fiscal 2024, our global direct-to-consumer content expense on our P&L will be between $14 and $16 billion across Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. This excludes Hulu Live's programming costs for networks on its digital MVPD service. This level of content investment demonstrates our commitment to pivoting and accelerating our strategy. Putting this all together,
So
when
over
you
4
add
years,
up
they're
our
only going to
subscriber
make
outlook
at most
across the
$16
three
billion
services,
when really
we
they should be
expect to
making,
reach between
you know, billions
300
for
and
each one that they just
350
showed.
million
They're going to lose so
global
much money.
subscriptions across our services by the end of fiscal 2024, compared to the 137 million we had as of December 2nd. It is clear that our strategy has already firmly positioned us as a leading global streaming service provider. And that is within just 1 year of launching Disney Plus. Looking forward, we have the utmost confidence in the trajectory of our direct-to-consumer businesses and in our ability to continue to create significant shareholder value. With that, I will hand things back over to Bob Chapek.
Bob Chapstick.
Thanks, Christine. After what you've seen today, you can surely understand why we are so excited and so optimistic about the future of the Walt Disney Company.
Why does no one wear a tie?
We showed you from our team of world-class creators.
That's Bob
truly is
Iger
unparalleled.
protesting Mickey
And we are
Mouse
delivering
ties.
it to audiences across our unique portfolio of streaming services in a way only Disney can. In just its first year, Disney Plus has vastly exceeded all of our expectations. And now, with the strategic vision that we just illustrated for you that puts the consumer in charge, we're incredibly confident that we will achieve the long-term guidance that Christine outlined, giving fans the wide array of great, high-quality entertainment they want, delivered when and how they want it. We believe the combined strength of all of our efforts will fundamentally transform the Walt Disney Company, create significant long-term value for our shareholders, and position us to achieve even greater success as we enter our second century. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Lowell for our investor Q&A session.
Lol.
We're now going to transition to an analyst Q&A session. But in order to do that, we need to give our analysts an opportunity to dial in to ask their questions. So while they're doing that, please enjoy the Academy Award-winning Pixar short, Piper.
Okay, we're not watching that because I'm gonna get in trouble.
I was gonna say, why are they showing that on
they're
this
probably
investor
trying
stream?
to kill time. So basically, what that just told us is that they are going to lose an immense amount of money. So 4 years, and they're only going to be making 16 at most. The best outlook that they have from that is a $16 billion return. When, I mean, how many movies and shows did they just show that, like, okay, so Captain Marvel made $1 billion, right? That's just one movie making $1 billion. I think that they premiered or announced more than 16 movies. And so let's say optimistically, each of those movies made, you know, around $1 billion each, which is being very optimistic, plus all the TV shows, they should be making a lot more than $16 billion. And all of those are going to be coming out, you know, sooner than in 4 years. So that's a huge, huge amount of money that they are losing. Not very good. And I'll put this back on once Piper is done, but which is weird since isn't this the short that came out before Inside Out? So that's pretty old short.
I don't remember. Piper? Is that what it's called?
Piper is a little bird on the ocean, like the beach, the one that goes under the waves. There's all the little shells.
I don't remember that one.
Yes, I heard KOTOR 2 is coming to mobile. I don't know how the hell you're going to play that on mobile, considering how difficult it is to play on PC. But, yeah, they're going to lose a lot of money. A lot of money. What do you guys think?
It's kind of crazy saying. I mean, Netflix, when Netflix started, I believe they lost money at first, and now they're worth gazillion of dollars. But
for the first year, you usually don't make a profit. You're usually making up the money that you invested into it. And then after the first year, you start making a return on your investment. And so then when did Disney Plus launch? Did it launch this year in like January?
no, not this year.
It was last year.
The Mandalorian was like there.
Yeah. Okay,
right
so
before
then
the Mandalorian, around October, November or something.
So that means they still are not making a profit off of it from something that launched last year. So, and then 2024 is in, you know, almost 3 years from now. Or, yeah.
And Bob Iger like jumped ship in February.
Yeah, he set up the streaming and all that and jumped ship.
They're like, hey, look at these books, Bob, and there's a pandemic coming. He's like, oh.
It was before that, but he had already gone. See ya.
I'll be back. I gotta make a phone call real quick.
He
got his money and left
for losing money, and he
left
wants to
before
run for president. So
he left before they shut down the theme parks.
Yeah,
I remember that was a big thing, and I was like, "Oh, I bet he knew that the theme parks, everything is going to be shut down, the movie theaters," and he just like, I don't want to deal with that.
Wash my hands.
I gotta go somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they knew.
An $80 million a year salary for the past 20 years. take care of me pretty well.
There's been no announcement for X-Men yet. I guarantee you it's because it's still in very early pre-production since Disney only acquired Fox recently. And so they probably didn't have anything to show because COVID probably set them back. So they only showed stuff that they had things
At
to
least had the
visualize.
blueprints for, right?
Yeah.
That Alien series was very intriguing. I wasn't I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued by that announcement.
I don't know. I haven't been a fan of what they've done with Alien ever, you know.
You said it was going to be on Earth too. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Earth?
I don't know. I'm going to look into it and see. Noah Hawley is in charge of that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do like hard R stuff though.
Well, I'm not into the hard R stuff myself, but I like the cerebral thinking science fiction and kind of tense moments. I don't know.
My only thing with that would be how much of a budget would they have for the special effects for the aliens for a TV show? A movie is completely different, but to be able to keep up with that on a weekly basis, that's where I'm like, ooh, would they be able to do it?
I wonder if it would be like a Walking Dead type thing where it'd just be about the people just hanging out, and every now and then an alien shows up and they're like, and then they go back to doing their thing.
But the Star Wars announcements were like, I was just flabbergasted by how many that they decided to put out there.
They know that they got to make up for the freaking sequel trilogy. And I mean,
not one spin-off from the sequel trilogy.
No. Well, I mean, no, Cassian Andor doesn't really count, but it is really alarming about that. They know that they lost money on it, and the amount that they're trying to make up for it with all of these shows. It's just, I mean, it's clear as day to everyone that those movies lost money and nobody is interested in it. So it's like, let's go back to the originals. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they're doing good. Let's bank off of them. Oh, there's more to this. Oh, I didn't see this part of this short.
That was interesting.
Ooh, Q&A. This is always fun. Let me bring this back up. So this is when the shareholders get to ask them questions. And last time they had a shareholder meeting, I'm like, should I just buy some shares so I can try to get on this? Okay, here we go. And I'm going to have to mute myself so there's no echo.
Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, I am joined by Bob Chapek and Christine McCarthy, and we are going to spend the next few minutes answering some of your questions. We'd like to welcome a group of analysts who are joining us by Zoom. Good to see you all. And I would like to ask each analyst that in order to help us to get to as many of your questions as possible, please limit yourself to one question per person. Additionally, we'd encourage you to ask questions germane to today's presentation. Now, for those of you asking a question, please remember to unmute your mic when you are called upon. And unless you are asking a question, please make sure your line remains muted. And with that, we are ready to take our first question, and it comes from the line of Ben Swinburne from Morgan Stanley. Ben, it's good to see you. Please unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Sure, can you hear me?
We can, Ben.
Great. I'll follow the rules and stick with one. Bob, you talked a lot about flexibility in distribution decisions, which is clearly an advantage you have with all these different options. But you also have these, significant tentpole franchise films which carry tremendous value in kind of marketing and franchise heft. So, when we look at, for example, Pinocchio going to Disney Plus Direct, Raya Premier Access, I think Little Mermaid is theatrical. What is the decision-making process that goes into those choices? And, I guess just to play devil's advocate, why not go day and date, with your biggest films, as you talk about meeting the consumer where they are and the consumer's in charge? I'm wondering if you could talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Well, first of all, flexibility is going to be a big dynamic going forward for us because there's obviously two things happening. Number one is COVID and how that's impacting the marketplace, both from a consumer behavior standpoint, but also in terms of a theater exhibition standpoint. I mean, we've got that dynamic going as well, and then changing consumer behaviors overall. So to me, it's really about of the 100 titles that we announced today, 80% of them are going first to Disney Plus, which I think says something about our pivot over to Disney Plus. But at the same time, we had $13 billion of box office last year. And that's obviously not something to sneeze at. And we know, as the Walt Disney Company, who've got this plethora of franchises that we just showed you today, that we build those franchises through the theatrical exhibition window, and we did 13 billion back in 19. So for us, it's about balance, and it's about following the consumer as they make that transition. And so part of why we did the reorganization that we did is to ensure that we've got an organization that's flexible to read all the cues, whether it's the cessation of COVID or it's changing consumer behavior, so that we can very nimbly make decisions as we go forward. And that 80% direct-to-consumer is not just Disney Plus, obviously, but that includes Hulu and Star as well.
Ben, we thank you for the question. Our next question will come from.
I don't think he even answered the question.
Yeah, what was that?
Welcome. Please unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Thank you. Can you just talk about your decision to put
Baby
ESPN
Yoda
channels on Star Plus in Latin America, and really how that may impact your relationship with your distributors down there, how you look at the linear relationships down there, and if there are any sort of read-throughs, that we can sort of take away from that decision in terms about your relationship to the distributors here domestically, and what that means for your linear channels.
As we go ahead and expand our DTC offerings across the world, what we're very keen to do is not do a one-size-fits-all application. We know
Sorry.
In Europe that it's very important to have general.
Just realized how far apart they were.
Directly with our Disney Plus offerings because of what specifically the consumers are looking for there. In Latin America, per your question, we know that sports is kind of the equivalent there. And what we're trying to do is come up with a really nice combination of general entertainment, local local content, as well as sports. And so it's really following the consumer as we move there. And in terms of the relationships to the MVPD partners that we have, we're going to make the evolution that the consumer is looking for. But at the same time, we understand our partnerships are important, particularly those that are spinning off large amounts of cash for us. Now, that would always be a consideration, but particularly a consideration as our parks are obviously under duress from COVID. So it's really a balancing act. And it goes back to the first question. That's why we're all about flexibility right now.
Okay, Alexia, thanks so much. Our next question comes from Doug Mitchelson with Credit Suisse. Doug, good to see you. Please unmute and go ahead and ask your question.
Nice to see you as well. Thank you. I guess my question's on the content spend. When I look at your new subscriber guide, even notwithstanding 75 million or so of those coming from Hotstar, it looks like a pretty big revenue increase for Disney Plus when you look out to fiscal 24, something like maybe 10 billion, and you raised your programming expense guide by 4.5 billion. So you say profitably by fiscal 24. I guess curious the other cost buckets, but overall, are you spending substantially more, that incremental 4.5 billion as a company, or are there offsets elsewhere? Thanks.
Christine, want to?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. We're definitely still in launch mode as it relates to Disney Plus. We're still going into new markets. Some of the expenses are things like marketing, just going outside of the U.S. where the brand is very well known. Some of the markets we'll be in, the brand is known. Some others not as well known. So looking at just how
where is Disney not known?
Our direct-to-consumer businesses.
I don't know. They own everything.
Over the initial few years going into the launch.
So basically, all of this is going to marketing, is what she's saying.
What don't they own?
I think you saw today the
question.
content and the range of content. So
but the more they own, the more liabilities they have also.
Development, what's on the list of to be developed over the next few years. So, and once again, this is, as I said, towards the end of my prepared remarks, this is where we are at this point in time. So I would say this is a minimum amount of content that you will be seeing.
Doug, thank you. Okay, our next question will come from Michael Nathanson with Moffett-Nathanson. Michael, good to see you. Make sure you're unmuted and go ahead.
Hey, how are you? Question for Bob Christine. Given the importance to the forecast from India and Hotstar, and then Latin America that's coming on in June, can you talk a bit about the ARPU strategies, the pricing strategies in those markets, and what role does advertising play to maybe drive growth in those markets longer term?
Well, I'll take that. Hi, Michael. It's great to see you. Haven't seen any of you in a long time, so this is quite a nice engagement today.
They have no idea how to answer these
ARPU,
questions.
as we all know, is lower in India than in the other markets that we have launched Disney Plus. Your question around advertising is a really good one. Advertising is on Hulu. You can either get the product with or without advertising. But when you look at the Disney brand, the Disney Plus product, we have a very high volume of films on our service. And we don't believe that the consumer experience would be a particularly good one if we had advertising on Disney Plus. That doesn't mean that we couldn't look at some other things related to advertising, but in terms of having advertising in the stream for Disney Plus, our intention is not to do that. But we look at pricing also, which is going to be impacting ARPUs throughout the world.
I don't think that was the question he asked.
Country by country
Yeah, I know. It's like
They're not giving direct answers to anything.
What is your favorite color? Well, let's look at color for a moment. Color brings a shade and protection, and we put it on certain things just to make things pop. So that I hope that answers your question.
By $1
You're
starting
like,
in March.
what?
So there is a combination of things going, but we are going to be very focused on RP because, you know, it
Well, no,
is
he
part of
asked
the
how you're going to
revenue,
use marketing to
equation.
get in a wider audience,
Yeah, and I
specifically
would
in
just add, Michael, the
India.
one place
And
where
she
you
said
will see
about how there's
advertising
already
is on,
advertising in
sports.
Hulu
So
and it's not going to be on Disney Plus, but that's not what he
obviously
asked.
Star Plus
How
and
do you
lots of,
advertise this product to
if there
people
are
that don't
live
have the
events, we obviously
product?
have commercial breaks and you'll see advertising there. Michael, thanks. Good to see you. Our next question will come from the line of Jessica Reif Ehrlich with Bank of America. Jessica, good to see you. I don't believe you're unmuted.
I think can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Hi everybody.
I've drawn this lady before.
Seriously?
All right.
And in the ESPN,
Jessica, you froze. If you could start over, that would be great.
yeah. What do you anticipate for longer term operating margins for each of the services? And in your ESPN guidance, does that encompass major sports shifting over?
Yep.
So Jessica, great to see you as well. Long term, we are in the beginning, we are in the first innings of this direct-to-consumer business of ours. We're most focused on launching the service, getting engagement, having consumers really enjoy all of the content that we have to offer. So we're not providing margin guidance on margins, but you can assume that, you know, we will have additional content that is going to, we'll decide when we're going to put that content on, but we will be focused on margins. But right now we're really focused on the distribution side and having consumers engage with our services.
And ESPN Plus assumes some sports shift, as Jimmy had indicated, to ESPN Plus, but nothing of significance that would disrupt our linear networks right now. But I will say that every time we enter into a discussion with one of our providers, one of our partners on the sports rights side, ESPN Plus is always a part of that discussion. And recall that we've given guidance on profitability for Disney Plus in 24, ESPN Plus in 23, and Hulu in 23, if that gives you any guidance towards the margins.
Yeah, I mean, even in our SEC deal today, there's some allocation of rights to ESPN Plus. So that will, I think you'll continue to see that moving forward.
They didn't answer that question either.
Jessica, thanks.
Yeah, I think if you're a shareholder, you know what's going on. They went to the Kathleen Kennedy School of Isms of what to say.
Great, thanks so much. You guys didn't say anything about
To not answer the question. Oh yeah, we're looking into that. Okay, yeah.
today. Should investors sort of view those as unchanged, or are there some rights that today you might license out to competitor SVOD player that would come on your own platform that would cause those syndication or licensing revenues to diminish? Thanks.
Christine, you want to?
Sure. Hi, Jason. We are still licensing some content because we have some existing contracts that still have a period of time to run. Going forward, our intention is to have as much of our content produced by all of the studios that you saw today go on to our services. However, there may be some that for just one reason or another, we choose not to put on the services. So you will have licensing going forward, albeit at a much lower degree than we have in periods past.
That was the most straightforward answer that they have given, and it wasn't even straightforward.
We will now go to Mike Morris with Guggenheim. Mike, nice to see you. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Lowell. Good to see you all as well. My question is a follow-up on ESPN. Clearly, you're pushing very hard and being very aggressive with your content investment and this decision to make your content available directly to consumers and meet them where they are. But that is more of a challenge with ESPN. The push doesn't feel as aggressive, even though you are clearly spending on ESPN Plus. I'm hoping you could talk a little bit about what a path may look like for those largest investments on ESPN Plus, or on ESPN rather, to at some point be made available direct to consumer. I realize it's a complicated process, but I'd love to hear maybe what some of the dominoes are that need to fall over time that we could get the full ESPN as a standalone.
Okay, Bob, you want to take that?
Sure. You're right that it's a much more complicated equation in the DTC area in sports because of essentially the fact that we have to go get the rights externally for the content. But we've always said that we will follow the best interests of our shareholders when we make that transition. I think Jimmy ended his presentation with a statement that we're going to continue to watch consumer trends. And when we believe the time is right to make a transition, we will be prepared to make that transition. Right now, though, we believe that we're best with the hybrid model that we've got. While the tilt may not be quite as strong, as you referenced, as it is in our direct-to-consumer general entertainment business or Disney Plus business, it's still tilting, just not quite as aggressively because we don't think the time is right as a measurement of what would be right for our shareholders at this moment.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for that question. And our next question will come from Stephen Cahall with Wells Fargo Securities. Stephen, go ahead. Ask your question.
Thank you very much. Good to see you all. A big picture question, since you really set the stage out to 2024 and you've got Disney Plus Hotstar, you've got the new Comcast bundle, and you're nesting Star inside of Disney Plus in a lot of markets. So if we look out, say, 5 years, do you think that all of these individual services do converge into a single Disney Plus with lots of tiles? It seems like there's a big subscriber acquisition advantage to bundling. So, over time, do you see yourself bundling globally? Thank you.
Okay, so short term, I mentioned that we see different consumer dynamics in each of those regions, which is driving us to do what we're doing. And in those markets, for those consumers that do want to try to combine things and make it easier, our bundle is our solution for now. But right now, we're looking with flexibility. Again, I hate to keep using that word, but it really is a common thing. We're going to look with flexibility because we understand that those dynamics, because this is an embryonic market, this direct-to-consumer market, we understand those dynamics may change. So something that we could research right now in Latin America or Europe or Asia might look a certain way today, but as tastes evolve and consumer behaviors change, it may change. So we're not going to put a stake in the ground on any one strategy in any one market. All we can tell you is that we believe that the way we're launching these products today is the optimal way given the dynamics that we're reading.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Good to see you. Our next question will come from Brett Feldman with Goldman Sachs. Brett, nice to see you. Go ahead.
Goldman Sachs.
Thanks for taking the question. The higher long-term subscriber targets that you've put out there, I'm curious, to what extent does that reflect an expectation that you will do a better job penetrating the TAM you had previously estimated versus a view that there might actually be a larger TAM, particularly as you incorporate Star? And as part of that answer, I'd be interested in hearing what you've seen and what you anticipate you're going to see in the future in terms of consumption outside the US, primarily happening on mobile devices versus fixed devices. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take that, Brent. We're looking at higher penetration of the TAM. We spoke about the size of that
That's
at our
what she
first
said.
Investor Day, and we gave the number as 1.1 billion. So we will penetrate with more content, more quality content like you've seen today. And we also have Star that will also drive subs with the general entertainment, which is something different than what we talked about at the first Investor Day. And we're also looking at the content being 4 quadrants. So people with kids, people without kids, males, females, all the different demographics, we think they will find content that they want to consume on our services. So because of that, we believe that we will increase the penetration. And interestingly, right now there are more families.
Let's increase the
without kids than
penetration.
we expected. So
This is
I know that
painful.
there have been, some comments or news stories
Let's
or articles that
increase
talk
the
about
penetration.
our service Disney Plus being intended more for kids. And I would tell you that the observation we have, which is real and data driven, is that more people without kids are subscribers today.
Okay, thanks for the question. We will now go to Brian Kraft.
I want to
with
know how
Deutsche
they
Bank.
know their
Brian, nice
subscribers
to
don't
see
have
you.
kids.
Yeah,
Go ahead, ask your question.
Thanks, and good, nice to see you guys too. Can you give us a sense as to what total content amortization is in 2020 that's analogous to that 14 to 16 billion in 2024? And also, I was just wondering if you could clarify, you said you're targeting 100 new originals per year. Is that a 2024 target, or is that something that happens sooner than that, like 21 and 22? Thanks.
Great question.
I'll take the second question, then I'll leave you for the first one. We announced today over 100 titles, so that's a relatively immediate goal. And again,
Over
that's
100
63
titles
series
and only
42
16
films,
billion
80%
at
of which
max
are initially
increase in
destined for,
profits. That's sad.
our direct-to-consumer channels. And by the way, as you know, pretty much every one of our movies ultimately ends up, or series ends up on the direct-to-consumer services anyway. But that's really.
Did I miss anything important?
Goal, but we can continue to.
Yeah,
penetration.
Well, that's what she said. So he just
And
said
on the content
they're
amortization,
releasing
the
over
original
100 new
guidance that
titles, or they
we,
just announced,
gave at the
and
original
so,
Investor
but
Day
they
was 2
only
billion,
estimate a $16
and
billion
that is consistent
at
with what
max
actually occurred in
highest
fiscal
projection
20.
of
And we haven't
profits
gone
by
out,
2024.
we're not going to be talking about amortization as much
Hmm.
as we're going to be talking about content spend. But you can anticipate that the cash content spend will be.
She's like, we're going to penetrate
on the P&L for the
this,
years
and we're
when
going to
we're still
penetrate
ramping
that,
up
and we're going to
the
penetrate.
content investment.
And
So
no one
that's
said that's what she said.
that I think you're pretty
Anna
familiar
did.
with other streaming services, and we will have that same dynamic.
After Anna said that, she said it again. She's like, "Whoa, we're going to penetrate."
We're going to take one last question, and that will come from John Hudlick. with
One last
UBS.
question.
John, the line is yours.
Oh, I'm about to fall asleep. This is
Thank
boring
you
as
for
hell.
fitting me in, and good to see you all. Is the premium access product just a function of the pandemic, or do you expect it to extend? Once we're past all this, and have you guys found the right?
I feel like this
pricing
is way
with
more
the
for
Mulan release?
He's talking about movies
In
being
terms of the
released.
premium access strategy, that is, as I think Kareem shared in the presentation, the offering, the DTC offering when we're day and date with theatrical. Obviously, right now that works fairly well as we have a theatrical business that is being very, very challenged. That enables us not to have the titles stacking up, if you will, by being able to.
I'm a little
encourage us to go ahead and
concerned.
release a title in the theatrical market maybe before we're back up to 100% penetration. So to your point, it really works.
That's what she
really
said.
Well, now during the pandemic, we're going to see as we get more and more experience whether we
100%
think that's a strategy
penetration.
that can go forward.
I would do the exact opposite. I would let all of my titles stack up, and then month after month make all of that money.
You mentioned there's COVID, but there's also changing consumer demand, and we're going to read every single title. We're doing Raya in March. Will be a data point for us to better understand what Premier Access can be, both in a COVID world and in a post-COVID world.
John, thanks for that question. And thanks to Bob and Christine. And this brings to a close our Investor Day. I want to thank all of you for spending so much of your time with us today. I'd also like to take a moment, if I may, to thank everyone here at Disney who worked on the team and worked so incredibly hard over the past couple of months to create today's Investor Day. We hope that it provided you with a better understanding of why we are so enthusiastic about our future. For those of you who are celebrating, we wish you a very happy Hanukkah tonight, and we wish all of you a very good evening. Thanks so much.
All right, so now that is over, it's going to take a minute to, I muted on my end. It's going to take a minute to finish, and then I can go back and we can go watch the Star Wars section. But all right, so basically what they said was they didn't answer any of their investors' actual questions, and they're going to lose a lot of money. So that's what we just learned from that Q&A part and the financial aspect, that by 2024, they're only estimated at the max to make $16 billion on over 100 titles that they announced just today, which is pretty alarming because I'm assuming that they're estimating also what other titles they're going to announce in the upcoming years as well. So they have to have all of that in when they make these projections. And so even with the ones that over 100 titles announced just today, plus the ones that are going to be announced in the future, that's what, the people that do the statistics for this would have to factor in. And they're only going to make $16 billion on the return because they're trying to use this new platform called Stars, which is it's not the same one as, the Stars TV channel. It's just the Stars, which is Disney Plus for other countries. And so they're going to be losing a lot of money. And
penetration.
Yeah, penetration. That's going to be the biggest meme coming out of this.
That's the biggest takeaway.
Yes, excuse me. So I guess now we can get back to the Star Wars talk. I hope that this will go so I can go back. But over 600 people watching. Please, everyone, smash the like button. Thank you for being here. We're going to dive into this because there was a lot of Star Wars and Marvel stuff that was announced. So what do you guys want to talk about first? You guys want to do Star Wars or Marvel?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Okay. All right, I'll just bring back the screen. I did do the OBS and I recorded what Kathleen Kennedy said, a few of them. I could pull that up as well so we can actually watch it. Do you guys want to do that, or do you want to talk about
however you want to do it?
What do you think, Drunk? Do you want to see it?
That's fine. You can also go over the Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Well, I have it pulled up on my Twitter. Do they have it on like the Star Wars?
I think the biggest disappointment was Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, I know. What are they thinking?
He said none other than Chris Evans?
And it's like, what on earth are you guys listening? So everything that Disney has announced. So she pronounced this because Kathleen Kennedy was the one that did everything from Lucasfilm. So people asking when I posted the screenshot of this, oh, is this from Star Wars? I'm like, no, George Lucas had movies other than Star Wars. So she pronounced it Willa, not Willow.
Kathleen Kennedy did? Willa?
Yeah. She said Willa.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she did.
You didn't notice that?
Yeah, she did say that.
Let me
She
see,
said Willa.
Okay,
yeah. This has been development for a while, so this is kind of interesting.
Yeah, Warwick Davis is coming back, so it's going to be the Willow sequel, and it's going to be called Willa, unless Kathleen Kennedy just spoke wrong. But she said
Willow,
Willa, and Willow. So I don't know what's going on, but so Willow is going to be the full-on sorcerer in this. I doubt Val Kilmer is coming back. Maybe the princess will be in it, but these are actually.
Oh man.
Well, they're actually books. George Lucas did the books for these that Willow is based on. So maybe they're going to dive into that, which, if the right people are in charge, will be interesting to see. And I'm glad that Warwick Davis is going to be coming back for it.
Yeah.
Give him another.
Yeah. He still looks good. He was very young when he did that first film. I think like 17 or something.
Mad
He was
Mardigan
very
was
young. I just rewatched that not too long ago. It's pretty funny and pretty
It's like, hey,
sweet.
Peck.
Pulls at your heartstrings.
Peck. Peck. Don't call me Peck.
I like that it's
I'm
a sequel
sorry.
though and not a prequel. I'm just not a fan of prequels in general, but I like that they're continuing the story. And I guess with the Princess of Allura, wherever they decide to put it, we might see her at some point in her growth. I guess it depends on where she is. I'm not sure if they'll go from the books. I don't think they will. I just have a suspicion that they won't.
Yeah, because it's attached to George, so of course they're
Yeah.
not going to touch it, you know. Oh no.
I like the first Willow. It was a fun movie.
It's
it did a lot of
cute.
things that was like fun, like when Mad Mardigan fell off the sled and he turned into a giant snowball rolling down the hill. That was hilarious. So,
Oh my goodness. Well, this is going to be convenient. So,
you remember that scene?
yeah.
He's like,
I hope it's
Let's have
good.
a love
I really do.
potion. So if you guys want this, I'll put the link to this. This is actually the shareholder slideshow, which they now release now that the live stream is over.
everything will be all right once we get to Tyrus Lee.
Yeah.
Why did I listen to you, Peck? Love that movie.
I love the brownies too. I hope they do
Yeah.
that.
He stole the baby from you when you were taking a pee-pee.
You have to eat this. It'll grow hair on your chest. That's the last thing you need is a hairy chest.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good movie. It's really sweet.
Let's see.
I love
It was
Warwick
definitely
Davis.
a George Lucas film. Like you could see the George Lucas style in that,
This
in
is
that
these.
movie.
I'm just going to download this because this is not loading very well. I would love to have all of these on slides. That would be nice. But Adobe Acrobat is not fun. Well, we'll see.
I'm waiting
really
for Gina Carano to tweet. Rosario Dawson tweeted some others, but she hasn't done anything yet.
So, yeah, the logo, and I didn't realize it at first, and I had to look at it some more, but the logo for Ahsoka's show looked like the World Between Worlds art that we've kind of seen, and
It does. Here, let me pull it up. Here we go. It does when Ezra goes and saves her and they're in the World Between Worlds. So maybe that's going to be a play. Maybe it'll be her time traveling to get to Ezra and Thrawn. So Thrawn will probably be the main villain in this one, not so much in Mando. I do hope that they do a lot of crossover those, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like they're following the same formula that the CW made.
yeah, I'm wondering, because I think Kathleen Kennedy said that these shows would culminate into a story event. Did I hear that right?
I think so, yeah.
Like these timelines show, like the Rangers one and this one and the Mandalorian are in the same timeline, and that they would culminate in one story eventually, like
Yes.
and that kind of reminded me of the Defenders and other things like that.
Yeah, she made that when she did the announcement for both of them. The where is it? This is the one that everyone thinks Gina Carano is going to be in, but like Drunk said, she has not tweeted nor was she tagged in it. So that coincide, which I bet you it'll probably lead up to. I don't know if they would do a theatrical movie unless they do kind of what Doctor Who does, where they have the Christmas special that comes out obviously on Christmas, but maybe they'll have like a Disney Plus original movie that's the crossover with all of them.
I do wonder too, because obviously she did get the Ranger badge this last episode, but we have 2 episodes left, and one of the missions is to break a prisoner out, Bill Burr's Mayfeld. So she could kind of be like the outlier, maybe, that maybe works her way into it, because obviously she's going against the Ranger code by breaking someone out of prison. So I'm wondering if they're just letting those storylines go forward, and then we'll know more about her involvement in this series by what the next 2 episodes will tell us.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think we'll get more answers. And I feel like maybe now, because when you and I talked on that one live stream, we were talking about like the pacing on how the episodes were playing out. I feel like they knew that this shareholder meeting was coming out. So now that we all know that these are going to be the 2 spin-off shows. I feel like there's going to be setups in the next 2 episodes, kind of like how they had that episode in season 1 of Mando with the Force healing conveniently come out right before the Rise of Skywalker.
Drunk3po, thank you for the Gina amazing pick. What pick is that?
Oh,
For the
let's see.
What pick is that?
All of them. Oh, here. This is the author that has never. She only reads 50 pages of books and doesn't finish novels and doesn't like reading.
That's a smart hire.
Yeah. I watched a speech that she gave at a young writers convention where she admitted that. But I wonder if, let's see, is this the one? Maybe these will be the characters in the female-centric High Republic. But
why do they look like animated characters? Is that the cover of a novel?
This is the audiobook, I believe.
But like the animation too, like they said, all those characters that they're going to be featured, it's just animation. They're not real people. They don't look like live action versions.
Mm-hmm. Maybe this is leading into. Let me go back to that one big picture. Isn't there a few animated stuff? Because the visions. So this is going to be short films in different anime styles and different anime storytellers coming to do Star Wars visions in different eras of Star Wars. So
Star Wars anime would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If it's done right.
If it's done right, yes. I've seen some
I guess
really
we can say
good
that about
attempts at it.
anything right now. It's like that. It's pretty sad. We have to put that disclaimer.
I know.
Anything Disney is if it's done right.
I'm surprised they don't have more.
I think the Bad Batch was animated, and
but there
which
was
actually
one-
looked interesting.
It was like a side comment at the end when she. Let me go back. Let me find the picture I posted of all of them. Here we go. It was one of the ones that she announced at the end that was like, oh yeah, this is going to be animated as well, but I don't think it's on here because the whole, it's going to be little shorts with R2D2 and C3PO. Good for you, Drunk. They're going to have a little show. I don't think it's on here though, because neither is the Taika Waititi one. Let me see if I have if that was the one.
You saw an Anna's KOTOR playthrough. I remember you talking about it and found it nothing short of amazing. Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
What?
That little spicy pick of Gina that she posted. She got banned on Instagram.
Where is it? Let me see.
I know what you're talking about. Welcome, new member. Thanks for being here.
Oh, yes. Welcome. Sorry, and everyone. I will get to those in a minute. I'm trying to find this on my screen share without having to share my entire screen, but I think I'm going to have to. Why is it sharing?
R2D2 C3PO. I guess they don't need Anthony Daniels if it's animation. They could probably find someone to dub his voice.
So the droid story was animated. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I think this is in the presentation right here. So let me mute.
No, wasn't the droid story animated? I thought that's what the tweet said.
Our Star Wars theatrical slate is pushing forward into a new future era. As we announced recently, we're currently developing a brand new Star Wars feature with acclaimed filmmaker, Academy Award winner, Taika Waititi. Taika's approach to Star Wars will be fresh.
You can see me taking screenshots as this goes through. But no, was it one of these?
I couldn't be more excited than our next Star Wars feature film.
It was at the end of her presentation where she kind of just throws in an animated one.
Of the galaxy. Rogue Squadron.
I thought that was the big announcement, the Rogue Squadron. I thought it was before.
It was. It's like, it's a female directed Star Wars movie.
Star Wars and Lucasfilm.
So it was the series first and then the theatrical releases?
I believe so, yes. So I need to go back and find the other one that I recorded. But still.
A Rogue Squadron single film. Interesting.
I mean, is Wedge going to be in it? I want Wedge to be in it.
What's the time period?
I mean, X-Wing novels were. He was in Rogue Squadron.
I don't know if they're gonna do it because if it's gonna revolve around the new Squadrons game, or if it's going to be in the sequel era. She didn't say anything about that, but all I know is the only ones that I'm really interested in is the Kenobi one, Willow, Bad Batch. I don't know about the Andor one. I know that how she said, oh, it's going to be, here are all the actors and actresses in it, which there's a shit ton of actresses in it. And then she's like, oh, it's going to be Mon Mothma. And the way that she said it, I was like,
yeah,
Kathleen Kennedy.
And I like Diego Luna, the actor, and I did enjoy Rogue One. But just because of how we know everything ends, I just thought it was an odd decision to make an entire series about, because we know what happens to Cassian. But I liked his droid K2SO. Is that his name? I like their interactions. Yeah, it's interesting. Just to make an entire series on that. I do like the premise about kind of the seedier kind of things that the rebels had to do. It kind of has that other side to it, which kind of the games kind of give you that those layers.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the ends justify the means kind of thing. So that I enjoyed, but to have a series about it, it's I don't know. I'm a little skeptical for sure, but I like the actor and I did enjoy the film. So we'll see about that. As far as what I think looking forward to is Ahsoka and Rangers and Bad Batch and Obi-Wan, because I'm just really curious now.
I just wanted to see something new, but they didn't go. The only one that's doing anything new, right, is the Acolyte.
Well, yeah, 'cause that's going to be based on the High
kinda
Republic,
new?
but this is the female-centric Leslie
Right.
Headland show.
Yeah, and it's funny because she had actually made comments that it's female-centric means female-led, like a female-led protagonist. So she was kind of backtracking on it. So I guess she realized that, yeah, you're cutting a portion of your audience there, but she said there'll be other people in it. But the media and other things just really are harping on the female-centric part of it, when really if it's a female protagonist, it doesn't mean it's female-centric. That's not the same thing. So I mean,
it's their wording on how they said it, but
but she seemed to backtrack on it. Is what I'm saying. Like recent comments seem to backtrack on what she originally or what was originally said about it.
They're gonna backtrack.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like I'll look into it. I really am, but the High Republic era, I think, is just so contrived, and it doesn't exist, and it's only like 200 years before the Phantom Menace. So it's such an odd timeline. I feel like
what Ryan Canal was saying is that it's because if you look at what the books are going to be based on, it's to explain and to fix Rian Johnson's whole like kamikaze hyperspace stuff. So that's kind of alarming.
They're doing 5 years of Star Wars to fix the sequel trilogy. It's a simple fix. Get Rey, get all of them. Make a quick hour-and-a-half movie where she wakes up and goes, "Oh my God, Master, I had a horrible dream." And then Mark Hamill could be like, "All right, let's go get him." And then they just go fight, and then that's be the end of it. It could be quick. Put it on Disney Plus.
Yes, so Acolyte is a rank in the Sith, which is what Kathleen Kennedy says. She gives like a quick little thing that it is about the Sith. So the thing with Leslie Headland is I like to go and I like to watch interviews of people, not, just reading an interview. I like to see them and see the way that they like their mannerisms when they speak and their tone of voice. So I watched a lot of interviews with Leslie Headland, and she seemed like a very down-to-earth person years ago. And then you watch her more recent stuff and it seems like she's very woke. I don't know if she gets the vibe of Hollywood, so she's just saying what she needs to get a job. If she is, then she's a very smart woman. If she actually went woke, then that's very unfortunate. So with this, and I know that the one that she was in the Cannes Film Festival for, which was it's not called Bridesmaids, it's called something else, but it's basically she likes to do
House of Dolls.
No. It's something if you're in a wedding, but so she likes to do uncomfortable situation or situation type, stories. So that way it brings out different aspects of characters. And so the film that she had in the Cannes Film Festival was where there was this girl that all these other girls made fun of during high school, and they all end up having to be her bridesmaids.
It's a bachelorette party?
Yes, bachelorette party.
okay.
Okay. And so that, I guess, was well received. I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list of things to do. But when she talks about it, and she does an hour-long interview at the Cannes Film Festival, very down-to-earth person, and kind of the way that she talks about Hollywood and mainstream, it's like, wow, this girl has a brain on her head. Or, that came out wrong, but she has a good head on her. And so that's why I'm like, is she just saying the things that she needs to say to get in? Which, I mean, if that is, then she got in, she got her thing. So it'll be interesting to see if this is a story from the point of view of a Sith, but the whole female centric, because they got to do what they got to do to be the woke points. I want to see the trailer,
Yeah, I think they're definitely capitalizing on that for the media, get the media points and the traction for it. The premise on paper sounds kind of interesting. It said I think she said it was a mystery thriller, and this person's emerging dark powers or something. It was kind of interesting the way she described it, but then when she said High Republic era, and I'm like, I don't.
Well, she made a point to say it's at the very end of the High Republic era. Let me go back.
So, I mean, like someone like Asajj Ventress would be
I
interesting.
Yes.
Sorry.
Can I say something? I can?
Yes.
Remember when they were building Galaxy's Edge?
Yes.
And Kathleen Kennedy, they were building all three trilogies into Galaxy's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
They were building and then Kathleen Kennedy shows up and goes, "No, we're not going to do that. Because those stories that are behind are for 50-year-olds. There's more stories going forward than there are behind. So let's make Galaxy's Edge about the sequel trilogy and Batuu. All right, now look at all this here.
Mm-hmm.
The droid story behind. That's a recycled. Lando way behind. That's I'm not saying recycle, but you know what I mean. Like they pulled that from a trilogy.
Mandalorian are only supposed to be interested in basically everything.
Yeah, Mandalorian's behind. It's not before. Obi-Wan Kenobi's behind. Bad Batch is Clone Wars. That's behind. Acolyte is way behind. Andor is behind. Rangers, that's behind. I don't know what they're going to do with Visions, but I'm pretty sure they're just going to tie it in. Ahsoka, that's behind. Everything is behind. When she came in and said, no, we're going to go forward from the sequel trilogy.
Yep.
Forward. Everything is behind. I'm just saying, I don't know if she's really pulling all the strings here. You know what I mean? Because Favreau shows up and's like, I'm doing my show. And now everyone's like, oh my God. Your trilogy sucks. Hey, look at the Mandalorian. Let's just pull apart from the Mandalorian. We're gonna start. The universe starts with the Mandalorian now, and we're gonna go that way.
Or the OT, before and after it.
There's not one thing with the sequel. Not one thing. Not one thing.
No,
from
no
that
fan
era.
series.
Nothing.
You noticed, Drunk. Remember how Bob Iger said he's stepping down and he's going to be more in control of the creative side? And so I think you're right. I don't think she's pulling the strings. I think Bob Iger came, looked at the numbers on what sells and said, we're not focusing on the sequel trilogy because they don't make any money. So we got to focus on, you're exactly right, everything that only, according to her, 50-year-old dudes that are going to die out like.
Yeah, I do think she's behind the Acolyte, but apart from that, no.
I was at Galaxy's Edge 2 weeks ago because I run a theme park channel. Everyone, please don't crucify me. And I sat with one of the people, and they were like, "I gotta tell you a secret. We had a meeting," and I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "I don't know if this is true, but there's whispers that it might change. I was like, Galaxy's Edge? I'm just saying, maybe.
It can easily be converted to Tatooine. Do you think?
Oh yeah.
The person said, I just Disney knows now that the Holy Trinity of Star Wars moving forward is going to be Ahsoka, Grogu, and Thrawn.
Yep. Hey,
He's
look
like,
at
so
the
don't be surprised.
Oh, awesome!
If you see Thrawn, Ahsoka, Grogu's already at Galaxy's Edge, which totally screwed up their freaking timeline.
Yeah.
Which doesn't
He's
matter.
at Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah, there's hidden Baby Yodas, and you take your kid to go find it. Like,
how is he on that new planet?
It's not. That's what I'm saying. Like and this is why I don't even bother arguing about timelines and all that stuff, because even though Kennedy comes in and like we're gonna stick with it, Galaxy's Edge is supposed to take place between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. That's it. Nothing else. Now they're like break it. Like Disney just breaks their timeline.
They
I'm not
really
surprised.
lost too much money on it, and they're trying to do it.
Like when people get angry, they're like, "Oh, they're screwing up their own timeline." Of course they are. They've been doing it from day one. Why does this not surprise you?
They have.
I knew it was bad. I knew it was bad and I thought this was funny when Star Wars Explained, Alex and Molly, started crying on a live stream because Rise of Skywalker broke their favorite character, Poe's timeline. And they were all sad. Do you remember that? Alex was sitting there like, I don't think he should have, but and then Molly was tapping him on the shoulder. She's like, he's really upset about this one. And they're like, Poe Dameron was in the Navy. He wasn't a spice runner. And they just came in and changed everything. Why write all the books? Why write all? And I'm like, if a shill is that upset, why are we not surprised that they can't keep their own timeline?
Well,
Stop letting that make you angry. What I'm saying is stop letting that make you angry, because they're always going to do it. It's just who they are.
I know, but you got to remember, though, with Alex and Molly, those are two people that sprinted away from Jeremy.
I know, but what I'm saying is for them to be, if you upset your number one fans who look at Disney Star Wars and say, Disney Star Wars is excellent, could do no wrong, The Last Jedi is the greatest movie, and everybody else is stupid for criticizing them. Oh, they're the hate mob, blah, blah, blah. And then they come out in The Rise of Skywalker and go, they shouldn't have done that to Poe Dameron. And she's like, he's having a hard time with this. Doesn't that not prove to you that they just Disney doesn't care about their own timeline? They're just trying to make story. Basically, what I saw in this presentation, hey, we're $16 billion in debt. We ain't going to make any money for like 5 years. Just pump some stuff out. That's all I heard from the finances. They're just like, just pump some shows out. Get some shows out there, man.
I mean, The Acolyte, I heard like several things that's saying it's in an alternate timeline. It's not technically within, I don't know, or maybe they're just saying because it's like 200 years. I've seen like various sources saying that it's either in an alternate timeline or just because it's 200 years before, it doesn't touch. I mean, Yoda's in it, so I don't see how you can avoid it altering the timeline, but I don't know. That's odd to me. If it is alternate timeline, like whatever, like do your own thing. If you need to introduce this MCU, and if somehow all roads don't lead to the sequel trilogy, and there's going to be, and with the Ahsoka title looking like the World Between Worlds, it's maybe they want to do that, and maybe they just don't want to be tied to something as what Star Wars has become, this intricate canon, and I don't know.
It's so
they don't
easy
even know
to
what
do.
they're doing with the canon, though. I feel like
they don't know.
Nobody talks to one another. It'd be as if all of us were planning like Thanksgiving dinner, and we all just, it's like, oh, everyone, we're all planning Thanksgiving dinner, and nobody says what they're making, and we all just come and we all brought turkey.
Yeah, that's actually what this looks like. There's something, just this banquet of stuff that doesn't really match. We have the Bad Batch, which in itself sounds interesting. I mean, I've heard it and I saw the clip, which if you like the Clone Wars, I think you'd be very interested in that. So Filoni's probably heavily involved in it. If you like Rogue One, then Andor, I'm sure the Cassian Andor series will be right up your alley. And of course, the prequel lovers will love like Obi-Wan and
Yeah.
So it's
Problem
like for
is,
everybody, and Mandalorian lovers, Mandalorian Rangers, and so it's like for everyone this buffet of stuff, and it's never it's not cohesive. If I can
that exactly, and that's the problem. And OG Star Wars is right. She's in the chat. The problem is, it all leads back to the Last Jedi. It doesn't matter how good it is to me. If they brought a Luke series and it was like, oh my God, this is the Luke we want, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, you're like, it still goes back to the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I know, maybe they want to avoid it though, because look at what we have here. Like either pre-original trilogy or right after it, except for the Acolyte, which is its own kind of separate thing that they're doing.
It's like, but
so they just want to do their best to avoid that timeline.
Anna has. I used a recording from the guy who was like, Kathleen Kennedy came to the meeting and said, we're going forward. Anything backwards is for 50-year-old men that won't spend any money. Yep. I'm like looking at the lineup going, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Opposite. That just shows she's the most incompetent person. And I don't know if you were backstage when I said this, Elaine, but so I noticed Kathleen, she hasn't done any interviews or anything in a really long time. And when she was talking and giving this presentation, she was talking out of one side of her mouth. And so I'm wondering if she has some health problems or if she had a stroke.
I thought she was always like that.
Well, I was like, I don't remember if she's like that or not, because I looked back at all the clips I had and it's all filmed from kind of an angle. And so, but it was very apparent when I was watching this presentation. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, maybe she did have some health problems and that's why they brought somebody in to, here, let's make all of these that are made for 50-year-old dudes. And we have another guest. Cecil was begging for the link, so I sent it to him. What do you want?
Thank you.
What do you want?
Did you say begging? I just put one comment. I said send a link.
Yeah, that's begging.
I didn't want to break up your sentence.
No, you're fine. What do you want?
I have a prediction.
Okay.
Maybe I'm late to this, but Baby Yoda is going to be Rey. Rey is going to be the experiment that Grand Moff, what's his name, Gideon, the experiment that they're trying to make from the blood of Baby Yoda is going to be Rey, and Palpatine's son is going to try what's his name? He's going to try to save her by abandoning her on the planet. Rey is going to be the result of Baby Yoda's experimentation. That's my prediction. That's my.
Is that going to be the Taika Waititi movie?
Why not?
That is my prediction of where they're going with they're trying to do some sort of experimentation. They showed all the clones that were dying in those tanks and the failed ones. And when I guess his son finds out about what they're going to do with her, he leaves her there on the planet because he's trying to, get her lost in the universe so she doesn't.
Can I just say, everybody in the chat?
What do you guys think?
Everybody in the chat that's saying penetration for everything is hilarious.
Yeah.
And please keep it up. I'm seeing every single one of them.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just did have a question though regarding.
Cecil, mute your fucking mic.
Am I hearing me?
Oh my God. Okay, I muted him, bro. Cecil.
We're hearing feedback.
I muted him. Go.
That ain't feedback. You're falling down the stairs.
I forgot what I was even going to say. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been wondering that myself, and I've kind of expressed it on my channel as well during the live streams they're doing on the Mandalorian. Like, shouldn't Snoke be like already made?
Yes.
Because Kylo Ren is like 5 years old or 4 years old, I think, at this time. But wasn't he already like kind of around when he was, so he could seduce him to the dark side when he was a teenager? So shouldn't this technology already be in use by the Sith cultists? So I'm not really up on the Disney canon when it comes to the expansion of Kylo Ren and Snoke. So if anyone else knows and so what I've seen so far, it just doesn't really mesh well. Even the research that we've seen in The Mandalorian, it still doesn't mesh well with what we see in the sequel trilogy, because shouldn't all this stuff be already established and on their way into the First Order and into the makings of it? It still feels very much like a remnant of the Empire, and that we just saw the very beginning of the research with midichlorians into trying to make someone force sensitive into these different clones, and they looked like Snoke, but shouldn't Snoke already be there and be, a viable clone and able to, in a few years, seduce seduce Ben Solo? So I don't know if anyone else wants to correct me on that, because I'm not entirely clear on it, but it's just something that never added up to me.
Well, didn't they say that Snoke came from like
Nothing
the
adds
unknown?
up.
Like he came from the unknown regions of the galaxy, and so maybe they're trying to bring him in with Thrawn. But you're right, nothing adds up. Nothing makes sense.
Can I ask, Drunk?
Cecil makes a lot of sense, though, actually, which is very awesome.
Oh, no. Mark this fucking down. This is going to happen.
Yeah, I marked it down.
It's going to happen. Rey is going to be a result of the Baby Yoda blood experimentations. His son's going to hide her, and that's why she's so powerful. That's why, because they want to explain why Rey was so powerful when she wasn't trained. She was trained as Baby Yoda. All the memories of Baby Yoda are going to be in her blood. That's why she was trained already. They're going to, for real, this is how they're going to explain. No. Because she has his like soul or his consciousness or whatever in her, she was trained. And it's going to be Baby Yoda's training that she has. That's why she was never a Mary Sue. She was trained really hard as Baby Yoda.
Oh, also Cecil, meet Elaine. Elaine meets Cecil.
Oh, hi. Yeah,
Hello.
I was hoping there was going to be a whole lot of nudity on this show, because I know you guys last one got thrown off for all you knew.
I know we only talked about like birthing tents and
Well, that was like a tiny part. So you know what's funny is, so I actually re-uploaded, because I figured that the stream was not going to pass because I appealed it. For those of you who don't know, me and Nerd Cookies, Elaine, we did a stream on Monday talking about Dune and Star Wars, and I re-uploaded it onto my second channel, That Star Wars Girl Live. It's fine on this channel. On the other channel, it got, flagged and removed for sexual and nudity, like content. And I was like, what the hell? And so
I tuned into that, and I'm sorry, but it was like it was you guys were discussing the Dune novels. Like
I know, it's like there was nothing.
It was one of the nerdiest conversations I've probably ever had on like just a straight stream.
It was literally the opposite of sexual content. It was like
That's what I'm saying. Like the most, I guess, inappropriate it got was just talking about Padme's size of her belly and
and
the birthing tent.
Well, so I think what it was the thumbnail. So I re-uploaded it again after the other one got flagged, and it was fine. I just didn't put the thumbnail, and then the other one got reinstated, but the thumbnail is gone. So I was looking at it because people said if you have mountains on your desktop, that sometimes the algorithm picks that up as boobs. And so I was looking at it like on my phone just from like the tiny little screen, and I'm like, okay, it kind of looks the way the sand dunes were and the shadows, like maybe it's an ass and like a bikini. And so that's what I think got us flagged for sex and nudity.
The sand dunes, who knew?
I know. I know. But they reinstated it. So now that stream is up twice on my secondary channel if anyone wants to watch. You can pick anyone. If I show the thumbnail, I might get flagged. Cecil is hosting Jack Show tonight.
Yes, I'm gonna be leaving in 2 seconds. I'm gonna let you guys go back there. I just wanted to hop in for a minute. That's why I was begging to come on.
You were to tell us your Baby Yoda theory.
But yes, and my other theory was now they said Anakin is going to be in the Spider-Man movie. Is that
everyone's in it?
Okay, here's what happened. Once Guardians of the Galaxy happened, that was like, first of all, that was the closest thing that any kid has gotten to actual Star Wars since Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? That was like a fun movie that, the prequels were way too like involved for most kids, and there wasn't a lot of fun in them as compared to like Guardians of the Galaxy and the first three, the original trilogy. But I felt like Guardians of the Galaxy would not, once Disney got Star Wars, I was like, yo, they could have a cameo where they run into like one of these guys but then I saw Captain America Civil War, and Peter Parker references Empire Strikes Back as a movie, and I was like, no, you fucked up, because they're like, yeah, let's trip them up like they did the Walkers in Empire Strikes Back when they were tripping Giant Man. And I'm like, why did you mention that's a movie in this universe? Now you can never fucking meet any of these people in the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I guess they're just going to pretend he never said that.
Cecil, did you hear that Disney is also releasing a film about a young girl getting her period called Turning Red?
And she turns into a red panda.
What happened?
Yeah, I have it here if Anna wants to share the screen. This is it right here.
Make it bigger.
There it is.
Finally. I thought I was the only weirdo writing to Disney for this type of content, but apparently there's another guy out there.
Yeah, definitely multiple meanings.
That's it.
With this.
Is that true?
The awkwardness of being a teenager. There it is.
Oh,
when she gets too excited and transforms into a giant red panda. That's what they call it nowadays.
Oh, no.
So, you know.
So it's not about.
No, he specifically said about your body.
Your body changing. Yeah.
Yeah, your body changes.
It was so nice to hear that from a man. That was very weird.
I really want to hear about my body changing from well, I know him, so he's not a stranger to me, but for other people.
Into a red panda. That's what I meant.
I'm going to leave you nerds alone. I got to set up for Jack.
It's nice to meet you, Cecil.
Like 2 hours.
Bye, Cecil.
I also got to take a shower. I stink.
Why? You're going to be on stream. But you know what? I shouldn't even ask that question. Go take a shower.
Bye.
Bye. Well, now that degenerate is gone. Okay. Do you guys want to rank which one you are looking the most forward to the least?
I think Ahsoka is my first one that I'm most looking forward to. Well, oh man, it's tied between. I would say Obi-Wan, but I'm just not sure. And I think it's a one-off series, right? It's just a season. Is that right?
It's like 4 or 5 episodes, not even that long.
Yeah, I think I'm more excited for Ahsoka and just what it means for the Star Wars universe at this time. But I mean, of course, I've always loved Obi-Wan, and even I loved him. McGregor's turning it. So I'm very intrigued by it, but at the same, I'm the most cautious in regards to that. So I'd say Ahsoka first, just because I think I have the least emotionally involved in it, but I'm very intrigued by it. As far as Obi-Wan, I pretty much know like what it is. I mean, as far as its concept, as far as I'm very excited for Hayden Christensen's return. So I think they're pretty much tied for me, Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. And as far as I know, yeah.
Do you think they'll bring Ahsoka into Obi-Wan?
Oh man, why not? Why not? Bring in Harry Potter too.
You want to say that again? Say it again.
Bring in Harry Potter too. Just bring them all in. Come on. Now.
So I mean,
the multiverse. The multiverse will save it all.
So I am wondering, like, Hayden Christensen, will we see him as Anakin, like in a Force vision, or is he just going to be in this suit as Darth Vader and James Earl Jones is going to be the voice?
He said, or she said, he's going to be back as Darth Vader in the Vader suit. I feel like he'll probably have flashbacks though, like so he can be Anakin, and then Obi-Wan remembering like training and having conversations with him. I'm interested though to see if they're going to have Qui-Gon come back as a Force ghost.
Isn't there rumors of Liam Neeson?
Yes,
being it, because Revenge of the Sith kind of set that up for it, anyways. For him to commune with Qui-Gon.
Right, it's supposed to train.
Your old master came back from the Netherlands of the Force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that would be very intriguing. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by what they're going to do. And if we're going to see Luke at all in this as a young kid,
What the freak is going on with Luke, man? They've got every character coming back from the dead. Where's the best character in Star Wars?
No one's
Where
ever
is he?
really gone.
Well, where the freak is he? We got Ahsoka, we got Clone Wars, we got freaking Hayden Christensen, we got Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi, we got freaking Lando. We got C-3PO, R2-D2, and I'm spitting on my microphone here. We got, I mean, what is this?
So I do want to point out, so they said 10 Star Wars series are in development, and a couple of these aren't. Let's see, Rogue Squadron is a film, but they specifically said 10 series are coming, and we haven't reached the 10 with what's on the screen. So there could be a couple of things that they're waiting to announce.
That is 10. 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
Indiana Jones and Willow fall under the Lucasfilm umbrella.
No, they specifically said 10 Star Wars series. So
He
we don't
did,
see
Well,
Rogue
that's what
Squadron.
I said.
Doesn't
I
count.
remember her. I remember her mentioning something about another animated one. It was around the time she talked about this.
Yeah, so not counting the theatrical announcements, which was like 2. So there still might be a couple that are missing that they're waiting to announce, and we still have 2 episodes of Mandalorian that's still. So there's stuff that could still be in development that they just don't want to release just yet. Maybe they're waiting until the Mandalorian concludes, but so there could be other series in development apart from this. They did say 10, and we're not seeing 10 here.
Well, I think that you might be onto something with the High Republic when we were looking at, the little picture of the book, and you said that looks like an animated show, not characters from a book or live action. So I bet you they're probably gonna do like little animated High Republic era cartoons that they just haven't announced because the books aren't written, so they haven't gotten those characters yet.
That's interesting. And did they say specifically that the Acolyte was live action? Is that
No,
for sure?
they didn't specify that. At least I can't remember.
I mean, it would be awesome. I think it would be better if it was live action, but
I think more people would connect with it if it was live action, but they have more. If they do it animated, and then that's what I think that they're doing. I think they're trying stuff off animated, seeing if it's popular. And then if it's popular, then they get 2 shows out of it. They get the animated show, then they get to have the live action version of the show that will pick off where the animated one ends, like what happened with Rebels, because now we got those Rebel characters in Mando and Ahsoka, and they're going to have spin-off shows. Like, if the Bad Batch is good, they can't really do that because they're clones, but I guess those ones don't look the same because you got the Rambo clone, you got the other ones.
I am very interested, and not really at the same time, but the Lando series, I was very surprised that they wanted to do that, and they called it an event series, so it sounds like it's a one-off as well. And they gave very little details as to what time of his life that the series is set on. So if Danny Glover will be reprising his role at some point, what time in the timeline it is. I don't know. I just wasn't really interested in that. And I don't know. What do you think about it?
Sit back white people coming out of Kathleen Clinton's mouth for the Lando. It's like, oh my. I don't know. Are they going to have him is it going to be about him finding a new robot?
Yeah, I think it's just odd that it's just an event series. So what does that even mean?
Oh, okay. Script Doctor says series will be how Lando gets Bespin.
So he'll be older then, right?
Yeah.
He'll be like the yeah.
Well, because I remember reading that Glover didn't want to come back for it because he didn't have time in his schedule to do it. So if they do get a guy that's a little bit older and then him, becoming a businessman in that sense and getting Bespin, I mean, it could be interesting, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to see them do anything with Lando after the robot stuff. So that's one that I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to bother watching it. If it's just going to be preaching and shoving stuff down my throat.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's some that I'm like, okay, I want to see the trailer for it first. Like the Visions, I think sounded pretty interesting, and it's having Star Wars anime and having, just little short films of different Star Wars anime stories. I was like, I wonder how many Sith we're going to get out of that. But Andor, I have almost no interest in. Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's like that to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to watch that. At the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to get my heart broken, which I have a feeling is going to happen.
I know, yeah, and I know I do like Deborah Chow. I'm not sure who's writing it, and I don't know if I can know who actually is writing this story. That would be interesting. I know Deborah Chow is directing, and she directed my favorite episodes of The Mandalorian season 1. So I know she can establish those shots very well and how she films. So I'm confident in her as a director. But in regards to the story and what's taking place at this time in Obi-Wan's life, it's very very complicated, I guess.
Where's Chewie? They don't care about Chewie anymore. Chewie didn't even get a hug from Leia. That's how much nobody cares about him in Disney Star Wars, which doesn't make sense because Chewie, again, George Lucas became a billionaire from the toys. Chewie is a very popular toy, and you want to sell that to kids. What kids usually favorite is Chewbacca, an Ewok, R2-D2, or Yoda, because those are very popular toys. Also Darth Vader, but I mean, if you look at the toy sales from that, Chewie is definitely up there, and they treat him like he doesn't exist. But, I mean, could you imagine if they did a whole show based on Kashyyyk? And, I mean, that right, because when I was playing KOTOR, that was one of my favorite planets to visit, and getting to actually be on like the ground of Kashyyyk and getting to see the Wookiees and the Wookiee culture. And they could do that. They wouldn't have to worry about representation in their actors or actresses because they would all be in Wookiee suits. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, we saw them on Life Day for the holiday special.
We did.
I know. There's just Star Wars is such a rich, and it's already it already was diverse. So that was never a thing.
I don't know what to say. I'm just like,
what do you think, Drunk? Which one are you looking the most forward to, and which one are you dreading?
see, I love the idea of Hayden Christensen coming back, but I just don't understand why. I don't know why. I don't know. It makes me nervous. The Rogue One series, I have no interest in that whatsoever. They're gonna have to make it like a really cool whodunit type thing.
No, they said it's going to be a spy, so I feel like they're going to try to make
series, like a James
they're going to
Bond.
try to make him into James Bond.
It's bittersweet though, because we know how his story ends already, and that's kind of why I don't like prequels to begin with. Because you know how the story ends, and there's not really that surprise and not really any wonder about what the journey will end. We already know how his journey will end, so right away it's, I don't know, there's that mystery taken away.
I don't see how they could mess up the droid series, but
Oh, they will.
so that could be something. Rogue Squadron, if they do it like the video game, is it going to be like pronoun pilots?
I hope not.
Are they going to do that? So
Well, I mean,
that I'd probably watch. The Rangers of the New Republic. If that's the Gina Carano episode, I will watch.
Yeah, that's your girl, so you'll be on top of that.
I hope she's in it. I think it will. It may not center around her, but I think she might be in it for sure.
She just tweeted something out, but it was
what?
It just wasn't. I don't know.
I will say, in regards to whether her hashtag will be connected to it, I mean, I just think that because The Mandalorian isn't done yet, they still, I mean, because all these actors that are involved in these episodes that they've appeared in have been so hush-hush until the episode premieres, and then they can talk about it. So if anything conflicts with that, I feel like they're just going to wait until it can say something. So I'm just waiting until these episodes premiere, and then we'll see if she'll be in it. But yeah, I think it's a safe bet.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do the, I don't want to say multiverse, but the way that the CW does it, where all the shows are taking place in the same timeline in the same universe, and they'll have crossover episodes to get the hype, so that way those are viewed episodes, and then maybe they'll do a movie for their streaming platform, and if it's successful, have like a special where you can go see it in theaters. But I mean, I don't know if Gina Carano would be the lead for the Rangers one. I feel like that they kind of hinted at that, but with those two other characters like Dave Filoni and did they say the other guy's name?
Okay, so I hope she's okay.
My cat just my cat is evil. Did y'all hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, she just knocked over my controller, my PS4.
Okay, my cat is sitting in my bathroom.
I forgot she was there. She blends in. But I lost my thought about that one guy, the other X-Wing pilot who was talking with her.
Yeah, the chubby guy.
I'm just saying, if they have this show and Henry Cavill is the lead Ranger, I will be watching that every single episode over and over again. So
yeah, they're all gonna look like Porkins.
Yeah, it's Asian Porkins. But
they're real people. They were real people back then that they used.
It wouldn't surprise me if she just had a role like she has in The Mandalorian, where she's the sheriff and then they need her.
That's why I think it's gonna be.
They go get her to like do a couple of these big missions, and then she goes back to her job.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be one of those characters that she's in all of the shows, but she's not the main character of all of the shows. And that's also because I think she has other things going on, and so they might not be able to book her as much.
It would be easier to do a crossover too that way, which they kind of alluded to. So she might be the one that connects Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and Rangers.
Yes.
I don't know. They kind of alluded to an event, kind of. I forget how she said it, but an event storyline or something like that.
Let me see. Script Doctor says Rangers will most likely be a series about Carson and Wolf patrolling the Outer Rim in their X-Wings. You know, in the nicest way possible, I sincerely hope not. Because, okay, the way that the dialogue is written for those characters, I think it would be fine if it was animated, but because they're real people saying these, it's very forced, and the dialogue is kind of cringy, even though it's getting the point across, but the way that they're saying it, it's very, I am saying things that was given to me in a script.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting for Cara Dune. And again, she seems like the outlier. And as we see, she's about to break Republic rules by taking part in a prison break. So that might be... I
wonder if she'll get away with it,
just be a rogue person.
Because what if in this next episode, when she does help out Mando, and then the other guys are there as well, Dave Filoni's character and the other guy, what was it that Script Doctor said? Is it Wolf and something else?
Carson?
Wolf and Carson. So maybe they'll all work together on it, and that'll be the lead into Rangers, but we'll get more of an idea on those shows once the next 2 episodes of Mando comes out. I see a couple super chats came in. I'm sorry, I'm reading them out of order. Jane Theory, thank you for the super chat. Anyone excited about Acolyte High Republic? LOL. I don't think so. I'm skeptical.
Well, I think that's like the only show that might not touch any.
Yeah, it's not touching any of these other shows.
Like any original characters, so maybe that could be the best one out of them all. Because it's like a brand new adventure with not messing up anything. They're starting their own. I don't know.
Well,
I don't
know if Yoda's going to be in it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, he's what? Is he 200 years old? Is that? No, when does... Oh, no, it's right at the end of the High Republic.
Yeah, it's at the end of the High Republic era.
So he's older. Yeah, he's old. He's right before Phantom Menace age, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. 200 Watt Studio, thank you for the super chat. Patty Jenkins doing Rogue Squadron. LOL. Yes, she is. This is going to be what Kathleen Kennedy said, even though she announced the Taika Waititi movie. She said that this is going to be the next one coming out. And I believe this is in 2023. So it's Rogue Squadrons, and it's directed by Patty Jenkins. And she's the one that's been directing the Wonder Woman movies. So I don't know.
I really am not looking forward to Taika movie. He's the one in the Mandalorian who like really pushed that stormtrooper meme.
Yeah.
When they couldn't shoot a tin can. And he brings that type of humor, like Thor Ragnarok, like that type of humor, like, that's just how he is. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad director, but for start,
I mean, he didn't write the episode; he just directed it.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So that was in
jokey,
there,
bro.
and
He's very jokey. That's just his way. Didn't he like make a tweet saying he was gonna like wreck everyone's
Yeah.
the whole canon? Like he's like, "Yep, I'm doing a Star Wars. I'm gonna wreck all your canon." Like,
Mm-hmm.
and he sent everybody crazy.
I hope he.
But I was like, I know that's how he is, man. He's like he jokes a lot. So, but still,
I'm not a fan of his humor because the first time I watched Thor Ragnarok, I laughed, but after you've seen it, it's not one of those things that it's not funny anymore. And so, at least that's my own personal taste on his movies, or at least the ones I have seen. I didn't watch the Jojo Rabbit one just because I have no interest in it. But it's not something like I can go back and watch Some Like It Hot, and I'm still cracking up at every single joke. And that's a very old movie. Whereas Thor Ragnarok, I'm like, I've seen it. It's not funny anymore. Also, I like how everyone gives Thor a hard time about, being depressed and, drinking. But Valkyrie's over here chugging an entire bottle in 10 seconds, and nobody gives her shit for being an alcoholic, even though he's a god and she's just a Valkyrie.
I know, like she was putting him through the ringer in Endgame when she was like doing the exact same thing and worse, just because she didn't have the beer belly. I guess it was fine.
Yeah, I just.
No, Will in the chat. Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. Like when he made that tweet, I didn't even get upset because I know that's how he is.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical about. I guess as we know more information, it's hopefully he feels the weight of what he has on his shoulders. But I mean, I wouldn't expect too much out of it. It's definitely going to be an interesting take.
You're talking about Thor Ragnarok was completely different than the first two. Like,
I like Thor Ragnarok, but I don't know if that applies to Star Wars at all.
Yeah, Jane Max, trust me, throughout my life, when you're liking stuff that your parents like and your parents are,
Anna is the worst person ever.
I'm the worst young person ever because I like old people things because my parents are significantly older than all of my friends' parents. Like my parents are the same age as all of my friends' grandparents. So I grew up with the stuff that they liked. So I like that stuff. So it's like I missed out on the generational stuff. But totally out of context with that because I know
the penetration.
I named a movie that was very old for my type of humor movies. But I mean, it is what it is. Shit was funnier back then because they didn't have to worry about censoring themselves to, spare people's feelings because it was from, a completely different generation.
Sleazy comes in and goes, "Why does everyone keep saying penetration?" Because
so
that's hilarious. I'm sorry.
No, so the penetration joke was at the end when they were doing the Q&A at the Disney board meeting. Shareholder meeting. They asked about the penetration in other countries for Disney Plus, and so they kept saying penetration, and it was just an entire "that's what she said" joke over and over again. If you watch the stream back, you'll be able to see where the penetration jokes came from. But there was a lot of penetration talk in the shareholder meeting, which I think is hilarious.
No Ryan Johnson announcement.
Yeah, that is another thing. Out of all of this, Ryan Johnson still has his trilogy, right?
So it makes me wonder, like, what Kathleen. It just makes me wonder because she's come out and said it multiple times, and now it's.
Well, and there were other people too that had a supposed trilogy. Wasn't it? Who was it? There were like two brothers, I think, that were also involved in the trilogy.
That got the guys that did Game of Thrones, and then they came out saying no, they're no longer having a trilogy because of the failure of the Game of Thrones season 8.
Yeah, so I feel like there's been those kind of speculations around, and they're just kind of feeling. Obviously, I think the majority of fans do not like what happened.
No.
And they need money right now.
Yes.
They can't afford to take risks like that.
That's what I'm kind of skeptical on, since Bob Iger stepped down. He said, I'm going to be in charge of creative until I, eventually do leave, because he wants to go become president of the United States. And the way that Kathleen Kennedy was talking, I'm kind of thinking that maybe she had a stroke, because the way, she's only talking out of one side of her mouth. And even like when she made expressions, it was only on one side of her face, which, I mean, I hope that she recovers, because that's terrible. She hasn't even been able to retire and enjoy her life. But that's why everything has nothing to do with the sequels and everything to do with what came before it, except for, the Acolyte. So maybe Bob Iger took over, not just because of that, but maybe she did, get sick and was recovering from that. That's just 100% skeptical or speculation on my end, because of the way that she was giving this presentation and the fact that she has been gone. She hasn't done interviews. She hasn't been in the forefront. She hasn't been leading. Bob Iger has, which is very strange, since she's the president of Lucasfilm, not him. So I'm thinking maybe there's more to the story, and it's either that, or maybe she just is totally incompetent at her job, and I'm just, being, more forgiving on that end. But, yeah.
No, I think there's something to that, at least. I mean, I know that her contract was approaching its end, but I wasn't expecting, and I still don't expect for her I expect her to fade into the wind. Like, I wasn't expecting an announcement for her to step down and for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau to take over, for it to be announced on this event. Because this is an event for investors, and they need to establish confidence and what they have planned, because, so much money is involved. So I think she's just going to fade into the wind, and she seems to be already.
Well,
I think that was a good point as well. I mean, yeah,
there's no talk about the you would think, we just finished a Star Wars trilogy, they would talk about the success of that and having that on their Disney Plus. Not even a peep of the sequel trilogy, not once. Everything that she said, because they showed the trailer for Mandalorian season 2. I'm like, wouldn't you show the end of your sequel trilogy and how successful and how much revenue that brought you to make all of these other Star Wars? Not even a fucking peep. Everything's about Mandalorian and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Ironic, huh?
Yeah.
I think Kathleen Kennedy wanted everything that I ever heard from the people that I know that work at Lucasfilm. They were saying that she just wants to get this the Indiana Jones movie done, and then she's gonna go.
I hope so. I hope that's right. Jane Theory says they didn't mention the sequel trilogy in their 50th anniversary announcement either. Yep, that's very true. And then everyone, yes, don't forget to sub to Drunk3po.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for putting that in the chat. I think OG was doing that too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you to all of my mods that are dropping the links. This was a very impromptu stream, because I forgot that this was happening today. Until I went on Twitter and was like, oh, fuck.
And you dropped the video like when everybody was watching.
I know, when everyone's watching this, and it was already scheduled and whatnot, but it is what it is.
I was like, what the freak, Anna? What is this video? Everyone's talking about.
I know. Well, hey, you know what?
You're just like, that woman. I'm like, what the freak?
I know. So basically, Batwoman's trailer dropped, and people were telling me, Anna, you need to, talk about this. And I was like, all right. But it honestly goes in tune, because my whole thing is I did a reaction to the Batwoman season 2 trailer, and it's nobody cares. And yeah, nobody cares. Because even that video isn't doing well, which is fine. Because I'll do a video on this, and that video wasn't even monetized because I did a reaction with the trailer in it, so it's fine. But yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares about Batwoman season 2 and the fact that they recast it. It's a LGBTQ plus member. It's a wham and a color. Everything that they wanted, and nobody cares because we're all talking about this. So falls. Yes, guys, I know. EFAP cares. I did give them a shout out in the video. But yeah, I was supposed to go do stuff today and I didn't. So Christmas shopping is going to all take place via Amazon. But yeah. What were we talking about?
Kathleen Kennedy had a stroke.
Yes.
Yeah, and how I said that, I think she'll leave after the. I think she just really wants the Indiana Jones on her belt, and then that's.
Do you guys think she's gonna, after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and the introduction of aliens into the Indiana Jones universe? Do you think they're gonna try to do something with what's going on right now? I just heard about this. The guy that's from Israel that said that there's always been aliens and that they're here on Earth and Trump knows about it. Do you think they'll try to pull that in and bank off of the alien hype again?
Oh, gosh.
That would be horrible. They just need to go back, like do some kind of religious relic like in the past. But
Do you think Shia LaBeouf is going to come back?
No, I don't think he will be.
But that's his son, unless they had more kids.
I know. I don't know what I don't know. I just say an easy movie would be like the Ark of the Covenant got stolen and he's got to go. They're like, we don't know how to get it back. Do we have anyone with knowledge? And then they go interrupt his retirement and like, hey, you want to give us a hand here? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I wonder who's writing it.
I don't know. But he's older, you know. He's older, so it's
yeah. He's in his 70s.
Yeah, I mean, like I
almost 80s, right?
I know.
Like what? How are they gonna do that? Is he gonna be? I don't know. She said he's the star of the movie, so
it's gonna be like a Picard situation. He's not gonna be doing a lot of running. Everyone else is gonna be doing the work and protecting him, and
maybe he gets kidnapped and they're like, he knows too much. We got to get him out. So the whole time is like other people going to rescue him, and he's just, he knows all our secrets. We got to rescue him. So
I don't know why. I don't know why this is happening.
It's Indiana Jones Escape from the Nursing Home.
Yeah, that's it.
They had their chance with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You had your chance when he was still at least a little spry and can do some stunts and run around. And he still looked pretty good. It was before. Yeah, it was wait,
you gotta go on
before the sequel trilogy?
It was before the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, and that was still, man, that was 6 years ago?
Indiana Jones, The Search for Oxygen. Search for Ben Gay.
You know, I'm actually kind of worried, like with COVID, because he isn't, you know, he's not the youngest guy out there anymore, and he's kind of on the high risk.
Indiana Jones in the Bowel of Doom. That was a good one. That was a good one, Kev. That's a good one. The Search for the Better Prune.
I mean, I like James Mangold. I know he's directing it. I like some stuff he's done, but still, it's not Steven Spielberg, and there's George Lucas is out of the picture. It's just, I don't know.
It's not the same. Script Doctor Atlantis would have been a great idea, because for those of you that don't know, Atlantis is supposed to be the lost island of the Azores in Portugal. So that's my people. Big myth in my people's culture. That's where, yeah. But, fun times. So they could have Portuguese.
I was hoping they would do the Spear of Destiny, but that's still a possibility. The Spirit, they have a whole comic book series and book series about Indiana Jones and the Spear of Destiny, which I thought was done really well. But they'd have to like just change a few of the characters because his dad was in it.
You know,
If
why
you
don't
don't know
they
what the
do?
spear of destiny is, it was the spear that stabbed Christ when he was on the cross, like in his side, and the blood that got on it had like these powers. And Hitler, the true story is Hitler tried to find it. So like that, it's so like they could incorporate that. Indiana Jones, I belong in a museum.
I like that.
All right, that's hilarious.
The cane of destiny.
Crystal Gaming, which island?
Oh man, that's
hilarious.
Oh my god, Jones expelling kidneys.
Expelling the.
I know. I don't know.
That's pretty good. You guys got some good ones.
Yeah, why don't they do a live action like Atlantis, The Lost Empire? I actually like that film, and I don't think it gets as much love as that and Treasure Planet. Why don't they make live action versions of those?
I thought that they were talking about doing a live action Treasure Planet. I know that
I want it.
Is it Cole Sprouse? He wants to play Milo in Atlantis. It just won't be the same though without Leonard Nimoy. So I'm like,
See, it's those ones that maybe didn't get as much love, I think, but the ones that already have, like Lion King and all these other films that are being redone, we already love and enjoy those stories. Why is there this constant need to revamp, redo, and just recycle?
Do you still like the original trilogy, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom?
Yeah.
Those are those are almost perfect films.
I even like the young Indiana Jones ones. That was pretty good.
Those are almost perfect. Raiders of the Lost Ark could be a perfect movie. I love Temple of Doom too. So
Yeah, I love the one with his dad though, Sean Connery.
I know.
I mean, that was fantastic.
What
Yeah.
I love the line. She
The last
talks in her
day.
sleep. Like that. And then like his reaction. I'm like,
Sean
when I-
Connery was fantastic in that film.
Yeah. And all these ones have Kathleen Kennedy's name on it. So it's you gotta wonder, what's she doing?
That's why I think honestly she was just a glorified secretary. She made sure that everyone was where they needed to be. All
She
the
was
right
a
people were
dancer
hired.
in
What?
Temple of Doom. She was a dancer in Temple of Doom.
Mm.
In the beginning scene, the little dancer, she was one of them. It's all there.
I don't want to look at that anymore than I have.
In case you want to look that up.
But it is 7:06. I have the Jack show in less than an hour. So I'm going to read these super chats and then I'm going to have to end the stream because I still have to run to the store and get a couple things because my cats ran out of wet food and they're about to riot on me. So I'm going to read some super chats. We can still think of a super chat. Hey, Anna, love the news. What do you think of Rogue Squadron? I don't know. I have to find out more information about it before I form my opinion. But it doesn't jump at me as something I'm excited about.
Yep.
You guys?
I mean, the concept I love. I love the X-Wing novels. In particular, how they expanded upon Wedge and Tilly's stories. But yeah, I just know so little about this. I just cautious optimism is how I view things. I'm not overjoyed because I just don't know. I don't know anymore. Cautious optimism. That's how
That's
I
where
live.
we are with Disney.
The idea, concept, sure. But
honestly, I think the best analogy I can have is, okay, let's say you live in the Walking Dead universe and you run into a group of people. And it's like, are these people nice or are they going to lock me in a cage and cook me? Or are like these Negans people? Are these like the It's like, you're human, you're not a zombie. So I want to trust you, but you might kill me. So I might, everything's at arm's length.
Yeah, that's a very good, it's a good analogy.
Matt G, thank you for the super chat. 160K subs, congrats. Where's the Jack show tonight? Thank you. Yeah, I got that milestone yesterday.
Oh, you did? Congratulations.
Thank you. I passed 160 on my channel and then 15,000 on Instagram. So it was like 2 big milestones.
Nice.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
drinking tonight on Jack show. Thank you. And I keep telling people I want to get to 169,000 before the end of the year because I have a very funny video I would like to make for that. So we can do that. Share, sub, like, all of the things. Doyle Hargrave, thank you for the super chat. That Ranger show better be Gina Carano show. I think we are all in agreement with you on there, but not sure. Richard Lundahl, thank you for the super chat. How much would you want to bet none of these will be better than Clone Wars or even Rebels? Yeah. It's hard to beat Lucas era. And so far, nothing Disney has done has. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Bad Batch seems similar to that Clone Wars style. But again, yeah, as far as the story goes, it's hard to say at this point. And Ahsoka, of course, how she will proceed. I don't know.
James Bush, thank you for 2 super chats in a row. One, you did not say anything. And then the other one says Force Cookies. I think that was directed at you, Nerd Cookies.
Aw, thank you.
Revenge of the Nether Realm. Thank you for the super chat. I'll take this over with Woke Game Awards. Ask 3PO.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Woke Game Awards?
No, it's on right now.
Oh, gotcha. Wicked Steel, thank you for 2 super chats in a row. I love Up was a great movie. And so Anna, did you get my gift? Like I said earlier, I did not go to my P.O. box yet. And I feel like I'm one of the few people that didn't like Up. So the beginning was good. After that, it just kind of fell apart for me. And it's not one that I'm ever like, oh my God, I want to watch Up. It's like...
It's hard to rewatch, yeah.
Yeah, I have no desire to watch it because I think it's just too depressing for me. And even the like highlight of it, I'm like, he's gonna die in like, you know, a few days. So, you know, it was not one that I enjoyed. And then your next super chat, because Tim Allen is a Republican and on the right.
He's always been that.
Yes, I don't know why they. I mean. I don't know why that would affect him being the voice of Buzz Lightyear, but I mean, if that is, that's really shitty. Because, I mean, voice acting, you can be any age. I mean, look at Kevin Conroy. How long has he been voicing Batman? And it doesn't matter how old you are when you're a voice actor because you're not on camera. You're a voice actor. You can literally play a character of any age. I mean, there's people in their 60s playing people that are 6 years old.
I mean, could anyone but Tom Hanks play the voice of Woody? I mean, it's just as much synonymous with that character. I can't imagine Chris Evans doing it. I don't care.
It's not gonna pan out well for them, I don't think. All right, thank you for the super chat. Fantastic Four, let's go. They had been talking about that, but there was nothing in their presentation about Fantastic Four that I saw.
No, I've heard rumors of talks, but no, I don't know.
Wicked Still, thank you for another super chat. Gore is a monster. He beat up Thor in comics, but with the help of was able to defeat him just barely. I have been reading Thor comics. Interesting on that one. I am not the biggest Marvel comics fan. I prefer DC. So I know Drunk is more of the Marvel guy.
They mess up the Marvel lore too.
Yeah, they do their own thing on it.
Are you looking forward to Christian Bale? He's that Gore, right?
The problem is I see Christian Bale as Batman, so it's like.
But he was also American Psycho.
I know. Yeah. But then he played Batman. I was like, holy crap.
Well, we got to see him be
Dick Cheney.
We got to hear him have a monster blowout from Terminator Salvation.
Yeah.
So I think he's
very versatile.
Yeah. Let's see. Adam S, thank you for the super chat. Iger, I'm going to the store for some smokes. Be right back.
Okay.
Doyle Hargrave, thank you for the super chat. Why is no one asking why KK still has a job? What the fuck? I think that I think you had to submit your questions first and then they picked it or something. But like I said, I've been debating on buying stock in Disney so I can see if I could ask questions. I doubt I would get picked because, you know, they have a ton of stockholders and they only like pick 6 people. So I'm like, do I want to invest money just so I can be that person to ask a question? But we will see.
It's probably the most people that have, or the most money involved in it that get to
Yeah.
the top of the list.
Bilbo, thank you for the super chat. Vingardium Leviosa penetration.
What?
I think they're supposed to be typing Wingardium Leviosa and then penetration.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Matt Decker, thank you for the super chat. How is this magically better than the lineup of shows they have had last time? Kathleen, can you put up a lineup together? And let's talk hard at Drunk.
Talk hard?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Let's talk hard. So I think they want Drunk's opinion on this lineup versus previous lineups.
I didn't say it was magical. I don't really like it. I think it's funny that they just contradict themselves all the time. Well, I don't even know. I can't even. I've been mad for a year. I'm not even mad anymore. It's just like it's just Disney Star Wars. What can you do?
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like most of us don't have as much of an emotional attachment as we used to. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And that,
it is what it is.
Diano, thank you for this super sticker, and it's a little flying pear. Thank you. Daniel James, thank you for super chat. Anyone else see this lineup and feel like Disney is desperate for a hit? Literally flinging dung at a wall. It's all dung to me. Actually, I think you're right. They're like, which one is going to do the best? And then we're going to lead the next, wave of Star Wars with that.
Yeah.
I agree. See what's...
Wicked Steel, thank you for super chat. Drunk3po, thank you for the Gina amazing.
Yes. You're welcome.
Gek812, thank you for super chat. Series about the Chiss incel, their big enemy, would be cool. It would be cool to see Chiss, but it would be cool if it was Timothy Zahn writing it and George Lucas was still in charge. Grivon, thank you for the super chat. KK quote from when she announced Hayden coming to the Obi-Wan show. This will be the rematch of the century. I'm gonna barf. That's what I thought too, because it's like that takes away from the importance of Vader realizing and learning that Obi-Wan survived, because when when they finally get on the Death Star and Vader stops and he's like, I feel the presence I have not felt. And it's, of his old master. And that's when he realizes that Obi-Wan survived. And then they have that rematch. That's the rematch of the century. If they have him fight Darth Vader in an Obi-Wan Kenobi, that takes away all of the impact from A New Hope.
Yeah.
It might be, they might do like 4 or just memories of him, like Obi-Wan recalling memories of Anakin and their friendly interchanges, and I don't know. I think that might be more likely. Otherwise, anybody could be in that Darth Vader suit. They could literally just get anyone and have James Earl Jones voice it.
Yeah, I think what they'll do with Hayden is have it when Vader is in his little room without the mask on and show Hayden all burned, because it doesn't matter now that he's aged because his skin will be all fucked up. And maybe it'll be like a dream sequence. And so Hayden will go and have dreams where he's still as Anakin and picturing himself fighting Obi-Wan, and maybe it'll be the dyad and they'll both be having dreams fighting one another in this dream world, but they both think it's just a dream, but it's really happening because they're a dyad. That's me trying to connect the dots. I guarantee you it'll be terrible. Let's see. Jane Theory, thank you for a super chat. Anyone excited about Acolyte High Republic? LOL.
Yeah, we read
Again,
that.
zombie apocalypse, arm's length. Are you going to kill me or are you a good person? 200 Watt Studio, thank you for the super chat. Patty Jenkins doing Rogue Squadron. LOL. Yes, I think I read that a little bit earlier. 200 Watt Studio, thank you for another super chat. Rogue Squadron about New Republic Avon ladies. I hope not. Jason McLean, thank you for the super chat. Filoni didn't want a cameo and now he's going to be on camera series lead. Yeah. self-inserting is a popular thing now in popular culture. Just look at I'm Not Starfire. Night King 01, thank you for the super chat. Anna, did you ever do a video on Clone Wars Season 7? If so, thoughts? No, I did not. I have no plans on doing it. GS Will 11, thank you for the super chat. Hey Anna, great to finally super chat. Oh, thank you. How do you think the Mandalorian will end this season, more specifically with Baby Yoda? Me and Nerd Cookies talked a little bit about this on Monday, but I think my thoughts on it has changed since this announcement. I think the last 2 episodes are going to kind of lead more into the spin-offs. So I don't know what to think anymore. Definitely the next one will be them trying to get back Baby Yoda and then having either a big reveal at the end like they did with Darksaber, or something about Baby Yoda Force powers, or even maybe what Elaine was talking about with with Luke and, the Jedi, somebody sensed Baby Yoda on the Force Rock and stuff like that. Who is taller, Anna or Willow? Willow. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to chime in on that and what you think is going to happen in these last 2 episodes?
Do you want to go first or me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I really hope they don't devote too much time to breaking Mayfeld out of prison. So I'm the most worried about that. I really just want the most time devoted to the face-off with Moff Gideon and rescuing the child. I don't know if they're going to actually rescue him at the end. I think they want to leave a cliffhanger to lead into the 3rd season. And I think they might have a little glimpse of whoever will sense the presence of the child, whether it be on Tython. I think they're going to kind of tease that as well, that someone will be searching for him. And whether or not that happens at the very end of the last episode of season 2 or somewhere in these next 2 episodes. But yeah, I'm hoping it'll be Luke, but it could be other people. I just want Luke to be done justice, and I don't know, even if we just see him for a little bit. I don't know, it's hard to say. We'll know tomorrow, I think. The next episode, I'll have a better idea tomorrow.
Tonight at midnight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Avengers Assemble.
I just don't want the next episode just to be about breaking Mayfeld out of prison. I want the next 2 to be about Moff Gideon.
They didn't announce a Boba Fett series. Boba Fett will die. There you go.
Yeah, Drunk, that's what you think?
That's my thoughts. Yep.
And then I'm going
everyone's
to
like he's gonna live because they're gonna do a Boba Fett series. Didn't announce it today. Boba Fett's gonna die. That's it.
Well, because the next 2 haven't happened yet. They don't want to spoil it.
Gonna die.
Anna, what's your opinion on self-inserting? I think it's okay when Cecil does it. Because I think Cecil being in every single comic book and every stream and everything ever is hilarious. When Disney or mainstream people do it, it sucks. But yeah, I hope it does revolve more around Moff Gideon. But Drunk, what about if it was, Mando just is about Boba Fett and Bo-Katan teaching, Mando about what it is to be a Mando and, helping him change his ways and rebuilding Mandalore? What if Boba Fett just is a permanent character on the Mando series?
Well, they only got 2 episodes left.
Yeah, for season 2. I'm talking about season 3.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't know how that would work. Mandalorians, I don't think they would work well together.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
I think we saw Boba Fett do his thing, and I think he's gonna help rescue
the beast.
Yeah.
The baby. However, and I do think if Cara Dune is not in this series, I think she's gonna die too. I hate to say that. I really hate to say that.
And that's why she's been like so free on Twitter. So she's
It's maybe.
I did think about that, but I don't know with this announcement. I'm not sure. But I was thinking that since there were rumors about a Boba Fett and then a Bo-Katan series, I mean, that they do seem redundant since they are all surrounding the Mandalorian culture. And maybe they just felt those things would all encompass in this one series. So I'm still thinking like maybe it will the Mandalorian will encompass their stories as well. and it'll just be incorporated into that and just be one series, because otherwise that seems kind of redundant to me. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know.
But this season launched 2 series, possibly 3. So
yeah, but if it's more than one Mandalorian series, I don't know. Do you think they would do that?
I mean, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic. It's like this series alone. This season 2 seemed like, you know.
Yeah, but
it
those
was
3
like-
technically are Mandalorian, so it just, I don't know. It just
Well, I
seems
mean,
like-
I would say to argue the point for it's okay to have different Mando stories going on. I mean, it's look at how many different superhero shows are going on, because it's more about the individual person, because everyone is different. So a Bo-Katan series would be a completely different journey than what Mando is doing, because she's trying to rebuild her culture and her people. Whereas Mando, he's looking for his people, but he has a completely different mission, and that's, more of like a father-son kind of dynamic, and trying to find each other while trying to, find that relationship between each other. Whereas Bo-Katan would be, well, she's already come of age and she's already, found her kind of place and her purpose. And so it would be a rebuilding of a society. So that's a very different storyline, which if you get the right writers, it can be done. And you can have, 2 people within the same culture doing things, coinciding. And I mean, Boba Fett would be, a redemption story, and him doing that. And so it can be done. It all depends on who is going to be in charge to do it,
And forgive
I would
me,
have a problem with it.
I have to run. I have a phone call that I have to take.
I have
Yeah.
2 super
Yeah.
chats left.
That's
You
all
wanna
right.
say-
Mama comes first. Mama comes first.
Tell your mom.
Thank you for that.
Bye,
Mama
Jen.
comes first. Mama comes first.
you
Love
wanna
y'all.
plug
Love y'all.
anything? Bye, Drunk. Okay, so I'm gonna read these last couple super chats, and then we are going to say good night. Also, I just want to say, if you have to go to, you're more than free to go. You do not have to stay for the whole super chat reading.
No, go ahead.
Okay, cool. To Tim505, thank you for the super chat. Last of Us 2 won Game of the Year. What a surprise! Well, why would you be surprised when the awards are rigged? Especially when you see how well Ghost of what is the island called? I keep wanting to say
Ghost of
Tsushima. Tsushima, there you go. When that one, it was the major success that got. What you should do is say, oh yeah, this one Game of the Year, and then show all of the returns and how many of those games, are just on super sale because nobody wants it.
It's like the Academy Awards, like Shape of Water won, and I'm like, what? No one ever saw that movie.
Oh, see, I love that movie. And
Oh, really?
Okay, so I think the problem with that movie is that I think it's very misunderstood. And because people,
I get the premise of it. I mean, I get the idea, but it's those films that like nobody really has even seen. The majority of people, I would say, it's like these indies films that they're kind of just there's certain kind of film that the Academy Awards like, and I think the same thing is happening with other award ceremonies, that certain games that they like that's voted for and that fits into the category. So I'm not saying that it was bad per se, because I can't even really say because I haven't seen it. But yeah, there's just certain things that it appeals to those that are voting for those kind of things.
Yeah, and honestly, after a while, I feel like people, they just feel like they deserve their due. And so Guillermo del Toro, that was, his first time winning like best director, and I remember I was so mad for him because he's trying to give his like speech and they're trying to rush him off, and he's like, guys, it's taken me 20 years to get this, let me talk. Whereas like other people, they let them talk and they tried to zoom through him. So I felt really bad for him, and the fact that he had to spend part of his speech telling them to let him talk and thank everyone. So sometimes I feel like they just give them the award because they feel like they, it's their time to win the award. So, because I agree, think he should have won for Pan's Labyrinth. Like, if you look at his body of work, Pan's Labyrinth should have won. But, it is what it is. Kind of like Leo. I thought Leo should have won for Wolf of Wall Street, because The Revenant, I I think he gave a better performance in Wolf of Wall Street than in The Revenant. Because, I mean, okay, you're in pain and you're crawling around. Tom Hardy did an excellent performance. Everyone else did an excellent. I mean, not to say Leo didn't do a bad job in The Revenant, but I don't think that was his best performance as an actor. But that's the movie he won for. So it is kind of weird when you get to those things. That's why I don't base it on the Oscars anymore. I don't think that that's a very good judge on it, because he won the Golden Globe for I think it was Wolf of Wall Street he won the Golden Globe for, but he didn't win the Oscar for that. So it's just little things. But I personally like The Shape of Water. I think for when people complain about it, and it's because they can't get past like the sex scene, because he's a river god, which, I mean, Guillermo del Toro, he's all about creatures and, you know, monster designs. But when you look at it, to me, having watched Star Trek all my life, I'm like, well, it's not that much different than a Klingon having sex with a human, you know, or you know, Neelix and Kes. It's just, to me, it didn't seem that weird. But also the purpose wasn't to say, okay, here's a, you know, a creature and a human, and they fall in love in their sexy time in it. And it was more so of the story of loneliness and finding some, you know, having that common thing and finding someone that speaks to your soul. So it was more of a artistically done thing, but people, I don't think, got past that. So it's I don't know if I'm giving this or explaining this correctly, but I thoroughly liked it.
I get it.
I thought it was a good movie. And yeah, I liked The Gay Best Friend.
It will be on Disney Plus soon.
You see, now that's one that I'm like, there's too much sexy time and cursing in that for kids. So
well, yeah, with the adult controls, you can have that on there. If you have that set, it won't show up.
Okay, I did not know that. But I use my friend's Disney Plus. She's like, here's my login, here's your account. I was like, oh, cool. So I'm not in control of any of that, which means if the Munchkin wants to watch that movie, she has access to it. But it is what it is. Sergey Bernard, thank you for the super chat. Indiana Jones Trespasses of the Forbidden Lawn. Because old men don't want little kids to be on their lawn. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you for the super chat. That is all the super chats for tonight. Thank you, Nerd Cookies, for coming on again.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. This is fun.
A very impromptu stream, so I'm glad that we all had time and it all worked out. And everyone, thank you so much for everyone in the chat. If you are not subscribed to Nerd Cookies, go sub to her channel. I did not have it in the description because I did not choose she was coming on, because this is very last minute. So thank you to all of my wonderful mods that have been dropping the link for her channel and Drunks in the chat. I really appreciate it. And make sure that you leave a like on this video. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and smash the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. And until next time, everyone, is there anything you want to plug or show before we go?
Oh, yeah, not much. Just, if you want to check out my channel, that'd be great. Thank you. And I did drop a video today about the Sebastian Stan rumor about playing a young Luke Skywalker. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, come check it out. I will have a stream on Sunday, 5 Central, to discuss the latest episode of The Mandalorian. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
No problem.
See y'all there.
Everyone go sub to her channel, and remember to go check out her live stream to talk more, because there's after all of this news is announced, and then once we see what happens in the episode tonight, it's going to be a very interesting stream for you. So everyone, make sure that you go check that out. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.
I'll tell you where I thought I came in the forest, when the lightsaber goes like this and flies off. I said, oh, what a great entrance. Ah! Ray caught it? She hasn't even been to Dagobah for training.